Carlos Delgado getting his first taste of Mets-Yankees here in 06 in the Infinity pitching matchup for tonight's game. And Randy Johnson goes for the Yankees. Jeremy Gonzalez's second start for the Mets. And, you know, on paper before the season, you'd say it was the ultimate mismatch, but things have not gone well for the big unit this year.
He really has struggled. He's had hitters 44 times in a 2-strike count. They're hitting .318 off him in that situation, which tells you that he's having a hard time putting hitters away. His slider is not as sharp. His fastball around the 92, 93 mile-an-hour range, and that's low for him.
And his swings and misses are down.
Yes, when you have swings and misses down, that means that they are seeing the pitches, they are making contact with your pitchers, and Randy Johnson was always a pitcher that he could go through an entire inning without anyone touching the ball.
As for Jeremy Gonzalez, first start out against Milwaukee, he threw strikes, which is what the Mets want to see tonight.
Well, it's great that he's throwing strikes. I think the key, though, is that he has 818 minor league innings, only 500 in the big leagues, and I'm sure he's never pitched with this kind of occasion. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles, because there's a little more pressure on this start than there would be on any other start.
Gonzalez has faced the Yankees before as a member of the Devil Rays and last year as a member of the Red Sox, but the first time in this cauldron, Mets-Yankees at Shea, and the first pitch is coming up in just a moment. Mets and Yankees getting set for the opener of this weekend series. Jeremy Gonzalez makes his second start as a Met. And here's the starting lineup for the Yankees, brought to you by Nissan and your local Nissan dealers. Derek Jeter's been hitting second all year long, and he's off to a great start in 2006, hitting behind Johnny Damon. Yankees without Hideki Matsui and Gary Sheffield, so Bernie Williams gets the start in left field, Melky Cabrera in right.
Like you talked about, Gary, Jeremy Gonzalez throws strikes, and what an opportunity to go out there and audition for this job. They're just waiting for someone to step to the front and win that pitcher's job.
Johnny Damon leads off, and Gonzalez's first pitch misses high. And when Gonzalez came out against the Brewers in his first start last Saturday, he threw almost all fastballs early in the game. 1-1 to Damon. Damon hitting at 280. 2-1 from Gonzalez, who's now 31 years of age, pitched for the Red Sox last year and faced the Yankees 4 times, all in relief last season. So it's not as overwhelming as it might be to another pitcher. And Damon lines one down the right field line. That's an extra base hit, bounding into the corner. Damon to second. He's running with a cracked bone in his foot, and so he's not even going to think about a triple. But he's led off the game with a double against Jeremy Gonzalez.
Well, ahead in the count, and Gonzalez had to come in with a fastball. You say he throws a lot of fastballs, Gary, and he did there. And Damon hit that off the end of the bat a little bit. That's what kept it fair.
And you see Damon not running 100% right now. In fact, Joe Torre DH'd him yesterday to try and take a little pressure off that foot, but the Yankees are so short of outfielders. Bubba Crosby went on the disabled list today that Damon had to play, and he's in there and leads off the game with a double. Here's Derek Jeter, 5th in the American League in batting at .346, and he takes wide from Gonzalez. Jeter at second and nobody out, so Gonzalez with an early difficulty to work himself out of. And Jeter pops one foul. Reason the Mets wanted Jeremy Gonzalez rather than Jose Lima to pitch against the Yankees is because the Yankees are such a patient team at the plate. Jeter fooled 1-2.
Has a nice cutter slider by Jeremy Gonzalez. You see that ball running up and away from Jeter, not able to catch up to that.
So with Jeter looking to at least move the runner, Gonzalez ahead of him 1-2 with Jason Giambi on deck. Jeter wastes one away. Gary Sheffield looking on. He's at least a week to 10 days away from playing with a sprained wrist. Of course, the Yankees also without Hideki Matsui, who's out for at least 3 or 4 months with a broken wrist. 1-2 to Jeter, and he lines a base hit. Damon turns third. He'll score without a throw, and the Yankees 2 batters into the game have a 1-0 lead. So Jeremy Gonzalez getting hurt up in the zone against Damon and Jeter.
Well, Damon's hit was up in his zone. He pulled it down the right field line. This fastball trying to come in, but Jeter is so quick with the bat inside and is able to line drive this ball to left field.
30th run batted in for Jeter. And so the Yankees off to a quick start against Gonzalez. And here's Jason Giambi. Giambi hitting just .266, but leads the American League in on-base percentage at .481. He's already drawn 40 walks this year. The Yankees today are playing their 40th game.
Of all the Yankee patient hitters, he's the best. By taking balls just off the strike zone.
Jeter's running. Loduca's throw. Not in time. And Jeter has his 7th stolen base of the year.
Well, the Yankees have come to play. Jeremy Gonzalez takes a long time to deliver the ball to the base. No chance for Loduca, even with a pretty good throw, to get Jeter.
Well, the Yankees coming out very aggressively at the plate and on the bases against Gonzalez. Still nobody out. They have a run in, and Jeter in scoring position for Giambi. And Gonzalez continues to miss high. They're the individual on-base percentage leaders in the American League, and the Yankees as a team have a .371 on-base percentage, and that's the best in the majors.
Well, Gary, you know, when you're up in the strike zone, it's because you're overthrowing. And why are you overthrowing? Because you're a little nervous. That's what happens to pitchers in the first inning.
And Giambi takes inside 2-1. And there's what we were talking about with the Yankees leading as a team in on-base percentage. And Giambi's just not going to help you out by going out of the strike zone. It's 3-1.
Oh, with Damon scoring, the Yankees have now scored 27 more runs than the Mets in one less game.
Willie Randolph hoping that Gonzalez can settle down here and find himself early and not put the Mets in a big hole the way Jose Lima did yesterday in St. Louis. And that's a strike to Giambi. Alfonso Marquez, the home plate umpire, and Giambi questioning the call.
Giambi's gotten himself to such a point with his ability to know balls and strikes that umpires almost know that he knows whether it's a balls or strikes. That ball looked in.
It's like ball 4 from here. 3-2 to Giambi, and it's too high. And so the first 3 hitters have all reached against Jeremy Gonzalez.
The Ford defense, you can see the same lineup as usual all the way around except for Jose Valentin playing left tonight instead of Cliff Lloyd.
So still nobody out, and here's Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod, last year's American League MVP for the 2nd time. And he takes a strike from Gonzalez. A-Rod is just 1 for 12 in his career against Jeremy Gonzalez.
I don't think he's 1 for 12 against anyone. And Gonzalez with a lot of those fastballs, you think that A-Rod would be hitting better than that, but
hit over third. That's a fair ball going down the line. Jeter will score easily. Giambi racing for third. Valentin's throw goes to second, which was unguarded. Matsui comes back, makes the tag. Matsui had committed going toward the left field line to be an extra cutoff man, had to retreat to the bag and got there in time to make the acrobatic tag on A-Rod for the first out of the game.
well, another pitch up in the strike zone, and A-Rod hammers this down the line. Valentin does a good job of getting to it and throwing it into second base. Matsui gets back to the base, but it looks like A-Rod gets under the tag. I would have to say that's a bad call by Tom Hallion at second base.
And Joe Torre is out arguing that call, and certainly the angle we saw, it appears as though A-Rod was safe, and Torre is stating his case as we get another look.
Well, there's an argument that Matsui didn't even apply the tag as A-Rod slides right underneath it.
It would certainly appear from here as though A-Rod got his foot in before Matsui reached to get the other foot. He got his left foot to the bag as Matsui was reaching for the right foot. And Torre's been out there arguing and finally gives it up. So the Yankees have a 2-0 lead. Gonzalez finally gets an out as Valentin throws out A-Rod at second base. And there you get a better look at the fact that A-Rod really did beat the throw.
Well, he beat the throw, and Matsui just missed the front leg that touched the bag first.
So here's Jorge Posada, and he takes a strike. So a very rocky start for Jeremy Gonzalez, and now the Mets forced to bring the infield in with Giambi at third and 1 out. And Posada hits it at Matsui. Giambi will hold, and that's the second out. So a big out for Gonzalez as he pins Giambi at third, at least for the moment. Now 2 down in the inning with 2 runs home, and Robinson Cano will bat. The way this inning has gone, I think that Jeremy Gonzalez would be thrilled to get out of this inning at 2-0.
The Mets and Gonzalez would be thrilled.
So here is Cano in his first full year in the big leagues, hitting at .317, and he takes a letter high strike. Cano's had some recent problems defensively, but he has hit from the day he arrived in the big leagues. Drives one toward the gap in left center field, and that's in for an extra base hit. Giambi trots home to score. It's a double for Robinson Cano, and the Yankees have a 3-0 first inning lead.
Well, Gary, other than the slider to Jeter, every pitch has been a fastball. Every pitch has been up in the strike zone. That's belt high, and just a beautiful swing from Cano. Level, head on the ball, drives it from where it's pitched, and splits the gap.
Well, this exact same approach from Gonzalez enabled him to retire 8 of the first 9 batters he faced in Milwaukee. But you know that the Yankees went to school, saw that Gonzalez was going to throw them all fastballs early in the game, and they have really taken advantage. Here's Bernie Williams hitting 7th, and he takes a breaking ball for a strike. Bernie playing left field, hitting just .231. 2,245 hits in his career, all in a Yankee uniform. And the slider misses 1-1.
Interesting. Gonzalez going to plan B as he starts Bernie Williams in 2 consecutive breaking balls.
And right now, Jeremy Gonzalez is trying to keep himself in this game in the first inning. He's given up 3 runs and 4 hits already. And Williams drives one to left center field, and that's an extra base hit. Cano comes in to score. Bernie Williams with an RBI double. 4-0 Yankees. And they are just blistering Jeremy Gonzalez here in the opening inning.
Now, these are not cheap hits. They are just hitting the ball right on the screws.
And now some concern for Bernie Williams as Joe Torre and the trainer Gene Monahan are out. The Yankees have such incredible outfield problems right now with Matsui and Sheffield and Crosby all on the disabled list. The last thing they need in the world is for Bernie Williams to be hurt. Bernie grimacing as he pulled into second base. He's 37 years old now and not nearly the player he once was, but they need him desperately right now. Here's Melky Cabrera, and the Mets will intentionally walk the rookie and face Randy Johnson with 2 men on. Well, there's no action in the Mets bullpen. So Willie Randolph is hoping that Gonzalez at least can get the pitcher out and start fresh in the 2nd inning.
Well, you just don't want to see this kind of start. It's the kind of start that Lima had yesterday early in the game and put your team in a hole.
Well, Omar Minaya was talking with us before the game tonight and telling us that the Mets are going to sit down, get all the brain trust together, and discuss all their options and put everything on the table as far as the starting rotation is concerned. And that means Aaron Heilman, and it means Mike Pelfrey and everybody else who's available, and try and figure out the best way to go. The hope was that Gonzalez would come out and pitch a good game tonight, but now with Lima having pitched so poorly and Gonzalez having this rocky 1st inning, it puts even more on the table. 1-1 to Johnson.
I think it's pretty interesting that he used the word all, because in the past they've always said that, you know, we're going to try to work with what we've got. The guys on the team will hope they can do the job. They never ever included Pelfrey and some of the other pitchers.
And Randy hits a loud foul ball. Randy Johnson has 1 home run in his career, a lifetime 127 hitter. Well, as a pitcher, anytime you get an at bat before you take the mound, you know you're having a good day.
That's a beautiful thing.
2 on and 2 out, 4 runs home for the Yankees here in the top of the 1st. And Johnson strikes out, but an ugly 1st inning for Jeremy Gonzalez. The Yankees score 4 runs on 5 loud hits. Randy Johnson takes the mound for the Yankees for his 10th start of the year, and he's got himself a nice cushion to work with before he throws his first pitch. Here's the Mets lineup that he'll face, brought to you by Nissan, your local Nissan dealers. Carlos Beltran has done well in the past against the big unit. Notice that Cliff Floyd is out of the lineup. The 3rd time in a week against a left-hander that Cliff has been benched, and Jose Valentin, who's been hot, gets the start in left field.
Well, Randy Johnson, you see that record, but that high ERA. Never do you see Johnson with that kind of ERA. And, you know, people have been talking that he might have lost his intimidation factor. He's given up 2 home runs in his last start. Last year, his career high, 32 home runs in 05. Here's a Ford. Here's a look at the defense, brought to you by your Tri-State Quality Ford store. See Giambi at first base. Need him to play first now because they don't have a chance to DH him. Posada behind the plate.
Do you know how much work it had to take to do that? Look at that. That is awesome.
It is amazing.
Good job.
That's a fan.
I'm going to do that tomorrow. Oh, I can't. Never mind. Here's Reyes. Takes ball 1. I had a thought, but let me get my son to do it. Reyes sitting at 256. And takes a strike from Johnson, 1-1. Reyes in an 8-for-44 skid right now. And takes the backdoor slider away, 2-1. Paul LaDuca waiting on deck, and then Carlos Beltran as the Mets try to fight back here in the bottom of the 1st. 3-1 to Reyes. Randy has not been walking people, only 15 walks in 53 innings. But he also hasn't been striking people out the way he used to. And Reyes takes a strike, and we talked about swings and misses. 2 years ago, 14.8% of Randy's pitches were swung and missed. Now it's 9.3%. That's a huge drop. Reyes fouls this one away. And I guess that tells you more than anything else that his stuff is just not what it was.
Well, if you took a left-handed pitcher anywhere in baseball and said that he threw 92 miles an hour and had a good slider, you go, I want him on my team, but it's dropped off so much from where he used to throw 98, 99 miles an hour.
Pretty good lefty in his day, Ron Guidry, now the Yankee pitching coach. And Reyes takes ball 4. Well, Reyes has now drawn 17 walks already this season. He had 29 all of last year. And so Randy Johnson handed a 4-0 lead, walks a guy who's generally pretty tough to walk, leading off in the bottom of the first.
Well, if you're a starting pitcher, you're kicking yourself if you do that when you have the lead.
So here's Lo Duca. Paul's got a 6-game hitting streak going. Reyes 14 steals on the year, and Johnson looks in on him.
Randy Johnson, never known as a left-hander who's had a great move, but most of his career hasn't had a lot of people on base, so never need to learn a move. The left-handers, they'll play games with the base runners just with their eyes.
Reyes getting back easily on the first 2 throws.
See that by Randy Johnson. He looked at Reyes, looked home, and then threw to first base.
Yankees played aggressively in the top of the first inning, scored 4 runs. See if the Mets are aggressive on the bases here, down by 4. Duca takes a strike.
Well, I believe that Reyes should stay right where he is. I think 4-0 lead. I don't think you should be that aggressive. I think Randy Johnson gets the ball rid of the ball pretty good. Throws a lot of fastballs up and away to hitters also. It's an easy pitch for Posada to throw on.
Duca punches it foul, 0-2. LaDuca's had more at-bats by far against Randy Johnson than any other hitter in the Mets lineup, having played in the National League West for several years when Randy was with the Diamondbacks and LaDuca was with the Dodgers.
I don't know what you think, Gary, but a lot of these stats where they say a guy's hitting 333s, 1 for 3, that means nothing to me. But 52 at-bats does mean something. That's
what LaDuca has against Randy Johnson, and he's battled him on pretty even terms, hitting 269 against him. Takes a slider inside, 1-2. You see the numbers for LaDuca.
When Johnson at his prime, when he had his electric stuff, that slider down and in, more right-handed hitters swung at that pitch than any other pitch he threw.
Randy Johnson will turn 43 years of age in September. And LaDuca bloops one right along the line, and it falls in. Reyes to third, and the Mets have the first 2 on against Johnson in the bottom of the first. Just a little parachute by LaDuca in the right spot.
Well, he gets jammed by this pitch up and in. LaDuca just trying to stay alive, trying to foul it off, but gets a break and bloops it right in front of the right field of Cabrera. You can see the ball beat him on that inside corner, but just strong enough to muscle it out to right field.
And again, that's a pitch where in the past maybe Randy gets a swing and miss.
Oh, absolutely. Usually he just, if that pitch was up and in on right-handers, that was by him.
So now the Mets with a chance to get right back in it, down 4-0, and here's Beltran. Takes the slider for ball 1.
The problem, Gary, is that as Randy Johnson starts to make this transition, if he can, into a more, pitcher, that thinking man's pitcher. He's always been just a 2-pitch pitcher.
Good slider, and he gets even on Beltran.
Well, he throws a changeup, but that's not his strength. He'd have to go where he's kind of sinking his fastball a little more, maybe trying to get some ground balls, changing speeds on his slider, which would be something he could do. It'll be whether he can do it.
Beltran hits one to deep left field. Forget it. A 3-run bomb by Beltran to the back of the bullpen. And it's a 1-run ball game. The Yankees with a barrage against Jeremy Gonzalez in the top of the first, and Beltran gets almost all of it back with one enormous swing.
Well, Carlos Beltran trying to tell Met fans, in the past, if the Yankees got up 4-0, they might have laid down, but they're not laying down tonight as he hits that bomb to left field.
11th home run of the year for Beltran, his 3rd from the right side. He's homered now 2 straight days, and it's 4-3, still nobody out. And Delgado takes a strike.
Well, Gonzalez got hurt in the first inning, would put fastballs up, and so does Johnson as Beltran gets all of that high fastball.
Well, he started Beltran off with 2 sliders, but Beltran buries the fastball, and now Delgado grounds one toward the middle. Base hit. So the first 4 Mets have all reached base. Still nobody out.
I'll tell you, in the past, in his prime, and everyone gets older, but this game would have been over if Randy Johnson was pitching. And he just looks a little bit lost out there. The pitchers are up in the strike zone. And also, batters are not backing out. They're just staying there and taking pitches. And in the past, this is a fastball that sometimes Johnson, when he was throwing 98, 90 miles an hour, they would foul that back maybe. But Beltran centered it.
This one was 95, which is the hardest pitch Randy's thrown, and it went 410 feet the other way. Now here's David Wright. David at 307 on the year and 355 against lefties. And takes the backdoor slider for a strike. Delgado now the tying run at first with nobody out. We're still in the first inning. What kind of game is this going to be? Wright fouls it back 0-2.
Well, after the Yankees took that 4-0 lead, the crowd kind of got quiet.
The Met part of the crowd anyway.
The Met part of the crowd anyway, exactly. But they're back to life, the Met part of the crowd.
I will say this, Met fans, I think, have taken command of their ballpark better this year than they have the last few seasons. Wright fouls it off. There seem to be fewer Yankee fans than there have been here at Shea over the last few years, when it would almost be a 50-50 proposition. Met fans clearly dominant so far tonight.
That's Elisa Milano, the star of the hit show Charmed on the TNT network. Been an actress forever, child actress. I think the name. Who's the Boss?
Who's
She's
the
on
Boss?
that show.
I know that's Randy Johnson's personal favorite. Who's the Boss? Oh, and 2 to Wright. And Johnson bounces the slider. Now Randy Johnson showing every sign of his 42 years. And, you know, the Yankees have got to live and die with this guy. They've got him signed not only for this year, but for next year as well. His contract runs out a year from September when he'll be 44. Well, that's the risk you run when you sign older players to long-term deals. You just don't know when the tipping point comes. 2-2 to Wright. And that's not to say that, you know, Randy's washed up. I don't mean to intimate that at all. But when you get to this age and you start to falter, you have to wonder. So Brian Cashman, Yankee GM, looking on. 2-2 to Wright, way inside. So Wright gets flipped, and now it's 3-2.
Well, he wasn't trying to throw at him, of course. This is a slider down and in. Nifty footwork by David Wright to just get out of the way.
Well, Johnson had him 0-2. Randy Johnson 268 wins, and while Tom Glavine is starting to close in on 300, you have to wonder whether Randy's going to have a chance to get there. See if Delgado runs. He does not, and Wright strikes out, and that's the first out.
Well, here's a swing and a miss. Good slider from Johnson after he'd thrown a bad one that almost hit Wright. This one starts over the middle of the plate and breaks down and in. The kind of swings you would see a lot 4 or 5 years ago. You know, Gary, there's a few pitchers in this park that have made transitions late in their career. Randy Johnson's going to have to do that too. Pedro, Glavine, and Messina on the Yankee side.
Here's Xavier Nady, and he fouls one off. And you might add to that list as well, pitchers in this park who've made the transition. Guy who's going to join us a little later today, the franchise, Tom Seaver.
Certainly did. Later in his career, had a great changeup that he used.
Here's Tom Terrific, and he'll be with us in the 4th inning today. Or maybe even the 3rd. Always had a little hurry. 0-2 to Nady. Kaz Matsui waiting on deck.
The left-hander that I remember lost everything on his fastball and made the transition better than anyone was Frank Tanana. He went from being a pitcher who threw 98 miles an hour, striking out the world, to a really just a sinker changeup pitcher.
Nady pulls the slider foul. That was our old colleague Todd Callis who had that great line about Tanana. He said in the 70s he threw in the 90s, and in the 90s he throws in the 70s.
New seats here at Shea Stadium. That looks like first class in an airplane.
That's the front row, and Nady strikes out. Well, Randy Johnson going up and away to fan Nady. Back-to-back strikeouts.
Well, slider down and in to right, and fastball out of the strike zone away. Elevating that pitch another few inches.
Those are great seats.
No, they're right above the berm out there in right field.
Now, we talked about them making use of that berm, right?
There we
now
go.
They finally have.
Probably do even some more layers coming down.
Any more revenue streams we can think of? Here's Matsui with 2 out and Delgado at first, and he lines one to left, but right at Williams, and Bernie surrounds it. Side retired. So Randy Johnson gets 4, gives back 3. Beltran does it with 1 swing, his 11th home run, 4-3 after 1. Well, things don't look as bleak for Jeremy Gonzalez as he takes the mound for the second as they did when he left the mound after the first. But Johnny Damon's first pitch swinging pops one up. Kaz Matsui retreating. 1 pitch and 1 retired. Well, things have already started much better in the second for Gonzalez. Get to Shea the easy way. Take the train to the game. The Long Island Railroad from Penn Station or Woodside stops right at Shea, and the number 7 subway conveniently serves Times Square and Grand Central's Metro North trains. Mass transit is easier and faster. Get on board at Mets.com. And if there was ever a day to take mass transit, today was the day. Grand Central Parkway was closed because of a down power line. I know that some folks sat in traffic for hours trying to get out of it. Now, do we have a famous player at the barbecue? You know, they've got Boog Powell in Baltimore, and they've got Greg Luzinski in Philadelphia.
Well, I remember the former Houston Astro pitcher Charlie Kerfeld was seen eating ribs in the bullpen.
We need to bring back Dave Kingman to run the grill. Jeter swings at the high fastball, 0-2. So Gonzalez going a little further up the ladder on Jeter, who drove home a run with a base hit on a high fastball back in the first. Up the middle and grabbed by Gonzalez. Got it right on the heel of the glove. 2 away.
Well, nice play on this sharply hit ball from Jeter. Fastball away. Sometimes the ball catches you as that ball hit Gonzalez right in the glove.
So 2 out and nobody on. And Gonzalez trying for a quick inning as he takes on Giambi, and the Mets will put on the overshift. And Giambi takes a strike. The whole of the wall gang looking on. 0-2 to Giambi. They're perched everywhere. Watching Mets, Yanks 06. 1-2 to Giambi. Giambi walked and scored in the first inning. That's his MO. 41 walks now. In there for a call, strike 3. Great bounce back inning for Jeremy Gonzalez. His second strikeout as he gets Giambi looking. 4-3 Yankees.
Champion New York Mets.
Jorge Posada is sitting in the Yankee dugout. Randy Johnson is standing on the mound. That's not a good combination for the Yankees right now.
No, it's not. Obviously, something's wrong with Jorge. Looks like
coming out of the game.
Yep.
Maybe he's under the weather. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, this is a Yankee team that is just having all sorts of injury problems right now to key personnel. Well, that was what happened a moment ago. Randy was warming up. Posada got set to throw the ball down to second, and I have no idea.
Jeez.
So Kelly Stinnett, the former Met, is going to take over behind the plate for the Yankees. Well, they've already lost Matsui and Sheffield. They're 3 and 5 hitters. Now they've lost Posada, who had been filling in the middle of that batting order. So 3 incredibly enormous bats now out of that Yankee lineup. Oh, while Stinnett gets himself ready, let's take a look at the first run of the game, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Seems like a long time ago.
It does. They power that ball, though. Yankees in that first inning, but Gonzalez had a good second one.
And the Mets were able to bounce back on Beltran's 3-run homer. And so the Mets will face Randy Johnson in the bottom of the second. Kelly Stinnett now behind the plate for the Yankees, and we'll get a report on Posada as soon as we can. Jose Valentin leads off. Valentin getting the start in left field. Cliff Floyd has been struggling, particularly against left-handers. So Valentin, who's been hot in the lineup in left field, pops it foul. Of course, Valentin is 0 for 13 in his career against Randy Johnson. There's Brian Cashman trying to find out from Torrey what has befallen Jorge Posada. At least Brian's smiling. That's probably a good sign. Backdoor breaking ball, 1-2 to Valentin. Jeremy Gonzalez on deck, and then Jose Reyes here in the bottom of the second. Valentin pulls it foul. We'll say Valentin filled in Saturday and Sunday in Milwaukee for Floyd against a couple of lefties. Had 6 hits and 6 RBIs in the 2 games. Played second base yesterday in St. Louis and hit a home run. So he's earning himself some more playing time. And with every at bat, it looks like he's gaining in confidence.
The beginning of the year, it looked like his bat was definitely a little slow, maybe from playing in that World Baseball Classic, but you're right, Gary. He seems to be on the ball now.
Valentin coming back after a lost year with the Dodgers last year. Battled through injuries and hit a $170 when he got a chance to play, and frankly didn't hit all spring, didn't hit the first month of the season, and he wondered at age 36 whether he had much left. But he had a great road trip. 3-2. Well, Randy several times early in this game has gotten ahead of hitters but been unable to put them away. Valentin hits one foul, got ahead of the slider and pulled it. Randy Johnson just trying to settle into this game. Valentin fouls another one away, and he's already seen 9 pitches in this turn at bat.
This is not the kind of thing you would usually see with Randy Johnson on the mound, is 9 pitch at bats. When he got ahead of you, he usually buried you. Not able to do that with Valentin.
Randy always has thrown a lot of pitches because he struck out so many hitters. Valentin pops this one foul, and Stinnett watches it sail out of play. And in the past, Randy would throw 130, 140 pitches a game and not blink. And now he's 42 years old. He's not going to throw 140 pitches in a game anymore. And combine that with the fact that he's having trouble putting people away, and it's hard for him to work all that deep into games. This will be the 11th pitch of the at bat. Ball 4. So Valentin with a tremendous at bat, and the Mets draw a leadoff walk from Randy Johnson for the second straight inning.
Well, the pitchers that make that transition from a power pitcher to a finesse pitcher, almost you count them on two hands maybe. There's just not that many of those guys that do it and do it successfully. The reason being is that once you lose some of that miles per hour on your fastball, for Randy, it's always been about intimidation also.
Gonzalez trying to sacrifice, fouls it off. It's been a while for Gonzalez, who had been playing in the American League with the Devil Rays and the Red Sox ever since he hurt his arm with the Cubs. He was out of the major leagues for 5 years. Came up in '97 with the Cubs, had a great rookie year, but hurt his arm the next season, and it wasn't until '03 that he got back to the big leagues with Tampa Bay. He gets this bunt down very nicely. Stinnett makes the play, so Gonzalez, after an 8-year drought, has that next sacrifice.
Well, it might have been a long time before sacrifice, but good form by Jeremy Gonzalez. Had the bat out in front of the plate. That is the key. If you have it out in front, the ball will stay fair.
So Gonzalez gets the job done. And the Mets have the tying run in scoring position with Reyes coming up. Reyes walked and scored in the first inning. Reyes has now scored 32 runs, and that's third in the National League, despite a .318 on base percentage. Last year he had just a .300 on base percentage and scored 99 runs, a combination that hadn't been pulled off in the majors in more than 70 years. And he's got that on base percentage up just enough that there's no telling how many runs he might score.
Well, 32, and this is the 41st game for the Mets.
And as much as you'd love to see Reyes break through in terms of his consistency, even what he's doing now is tremendously productive in terms of getting on and getting in. Valentin at second and one out. Reyes pops it up. 2 away. So Paul LaDuca will try and get the runner in from second. If you've been watching the Mets, you know that getting runners home from scoring position has not been easy for the Mets to do lately.
Yeah, their lineup, it just has not clicked. Always seems if they get a guy on third and less than 2 outs, not always, but they've had struggles getting the guys in. They've hit a lot of home runs now. That's how they've done the majority of their scoring.
That's how they did it in the first inning. Got the first 2 on, and Beltran hit a 3-run homer. And that's to be recommended too.
We want to see that during the course of the season. As you see Carlos Beltran on deck waiting his turn.
But the Mets as a team hitting just .243 with runners in scoring position. Contrast that with the Yankees, who are hitting .290 with runners in scoring position. LaDuca bounces one foul. LaDuca had a base hit his first time up, a bloop to right. He's now hit in 7 straight games and 15 of his last 16. And Willie Randolph has done a terrific job of giving LaDuca enough rest and not giving him the temptation to ride him a little bit harder here early in the season. Fouled away.
Gary mentioned in the lineup, if you look up and down the lineup, you see some nice numbers. You see some guys that have done some nice things. Carlos Beltran with more power early in the season. LaDuca with a nice average. Reyes has driven in 20 runs. But they just haven't, Delgado's been amazing, but they just haven't clicked, I think, like they can. I think they could be a real tough lineup, scoring lots of runs. It'd be a good time to do it now with the problems at the bottom of the rotation.
Valentin steals third without a throw. Got a big jump on Randy Johnson. And if you're going to try and steal third with 2 out, you better make it. And Valentin did.
Well, easy stolen base by Valentin. Big kick by Randy Johnson. If you want to watch A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, he didn't even move to cover the bag.
2-2 to LaDuca. First stolen base for Valentin. LaDuca pulls one over Valentin's head. Low bridge, everybody down.
Down. And if you want to know why Alex Rodriguez did not move to cover the bag, he wants to hold his ground and make sure if LaDuca puts a bat on the ball that he can make the play.
Don't want that ball going through the hole. Tying run at 3rd and 2 down. We're only in the 2nd inning. Right at Jeter. And he throws out LaDuca to end the inning. So the Mets get a leadoff walk but can't get Valentin around. We go to the 3rd here at Shea. Tom Seaver will join us in the top of the 3rd. Yankees 4 and the Mets 3. Alex Rodriguez leads off the 3rd against Jeremy Gonzalez and takes a strike. And look who's joining us. It's the franchise.
It's like old home week, isn't it? Huh? Look what Mama, look what walked through the door. Here we are. That's right. That's the first time I've been in this booth a long time and haven't had to wear a sport coat. You know what I mean?
Good job on your part.
Except for the days when it was about 95 degrees and about 98% humidity. They let me take my coat off every once in a while.
Now you're not wearing a shirt.
Nice to be back, boys.
Not wearing a tie and coat,
That's
but
right.
you're wearing this lovely shirt that says MasterCard
and
Pay
Pass. That's exactly. I've been in town kind of promoting this all day long, and this is a system that's in 11 ballparks. It's here at Shea Stadium. It's over at Yankee Stadium. And you get your Pay Pass card and you go up there and if you say you want to go get a Coke and a hot dog and get some food, refreshments, and it will take whatever you're buying and you take this card out and you just tap it and you go. You don't have to get any change. You don't have to get your wallet out or anything like that. And it's very convenient. There they are. There's my guys right there. I've been with them all day and made very good sense, and we've been yakking about it all day long.
Nice job.
Yeah.
3-1 to A-Rod, and Jeremy Gonzalez walks Alex Rodriguez to start the 3rd inning. Tom, we've been talking a lot about Randy Johnson tonight and trying to get a handle on an aging pitcher trying to reinvent himself and how you go about doing that.
Well, I looked at him. I haven't seen him throw. It's the first time I've seen him throw all year long. And I see dead hands, and I hate dead hands. And especially when you get older. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you probably have talked about it. I don't know, Ronnie, but that's what jumps off the page at me. And his hands are dead. And when you get older, you have to buy your body a little bit of time to get the throwing arm to throwing position, to get it to release point. And you do it with a couple of ways. You do it by moving your hands and finishing the bottom half, talking about the leg lift. Finish that to give your arm enough time to get to an angle. If you notice when he's throwing back to front. He's not really throwing top to bottom. His elbow is about it's about shoulder high, so he's actually throwing back to front. And you've got to be throwing on somewhat of a downward plane to get a different trajectory. Downward plane at going to home plate. So that's what I see. And sometimes things that are wrong just absolutely jump off the plate at you, and that's one thing that I really sensed this evening.
Kelly Stinnett subbing for Jorge Posada dumps a base hit into right, and the Yankees have 1st and 3rd and nobody out.
Here's a shot of it, and Randy's always been a guy where his shoulders are moving laterally. He's never had that front side down run. You know what I'm talking about. But it's almost as if his left elbow is down too low and he's beginning to push the ball. So his ball is going to home plate only in one plane as opposed to two. So that's what I see, and it's a struggle.
It also affects the breaking ball, too, because it takes the tilt off that breaking ball.
Did you see him? He's underneath the slider. He's getting his fingers underneath the slider throwing the ball. So it's
So how, if you're a guy like Randy who's been so dominant over the course of his career, how difficult is it to have the mindset to make that
You
change.
just got to. I would ask Ronnie this question: when things go wrong, and you're not throwing the ball, what's the first thing that everybody does? They try to do it faster.
Try to throw it harder.
And it's exactly the wrong thing to do. You should pull the throttle back and not do everything so quickly. Let it slow. Let your body get into throwing position.
Cano to deep center. Beltran back. Makes the catch at the wall. Rodriguez tags. He'll come in to score. A 410-foot sacrifice fly for Robinson Cano, and the Yankees now lead 5-3.
Well, good play here by Beltran. You can see he's looking at the wall, making sure he has plenty of room, plenty of time. And the thing you have to do there after you make the play, you want to make sure you get the ball in quickly, even though Stinnett, the catcher's at first base. You never know. He might try to tag on you.
So 1 out and 1 on with a run in. 5-3 Yankees, and here's Bernie Williams. And he takes a strike. Let's check in with Chris Cotter.
All right, thanks, guys. Jorge Posada left the game with tightness in his lower back, and he is listed as day-to-day, as many of the Yankees are, guys.
Tell you what, they're taking the heart right out of that batting order.
Dropping like flies over there, Yankee Stadium.
Tom Seaver sitting with us in the booth here in the top of the third, and at time I know that you left us after last year to go back and work on your wine, so you have to give us an update on the grapes.
The grapes are grapes from last year are doing extremely well, and we got I think we got 4.5 tons, 3.5, no 4.5 tons last year. We'll get 8.5 tons this year. It looks like. Now we got 6 and I don't know. We got enough 450 cases of wine. That's all I know. And this year we get a little bit more, and it's just it's a lot of fun. I came on Monday from San Francisco here, and I was in my vineyard. It's when you find something that you really like to do and love it. So I'm out there I work from 6:30 to 8 o'clock.
That was a good hour.
And then my wife gets up, and Nancy goes, I take my dog and I'm gone, baby. And I came back at 8 o'clock and packed my bag and went to the airport and flew to New York here. So it's things are good. I mean, we had enough rain this year for we had it kind of like Boston had the other day. So. During the winter, it doesn't really hurt the grapes, but it's a lot of fun. It's a whole new learning experience, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah.
I think of you in your vineyards like Lucy Ricardo.
I don't think this is going to be good. I'm taking a wild guess. I don't think this is the kind of like the compliment that I'd be looking for.
But it's obviously a lot of hard work, and you love it.
I do like it, and I do as much as I want to do, and then my vineyard manager he does. And gets a crew to do everything else. I mean, he does about 20 vineyards. I'm probably the smallest one he has. But when something has to get technically done or professionally done, or when I can't do it, like this week's grunt work, he sends somebody over there to get it done. So, but it's fun. Yeah, it's very enjoyable.
Well, I remember it was nice enough when I played with you that I went over to your house, and you used to always love to garden. Even then, you had a beautiful garden. Now it's translated into the wine. That's fantastic.
There's Melky Cabrera with 2 out, and he fouls one back.
That's pretty much was the birth of it too. Doing a vineyard, doing the vineyard was coming from, and you get so obsessed in your career, professional career, and you don't really look much outside of it. And I, finished physically as being a player, and I went home and I created a garden, and I found it very relaxing, very creative, and very enjoyable.
You miss being away from the game, though?
Not really, no. 40 years. 40 years is enough.
You miss us?
I miss you. And I wouldn't consider you the game. I mean, in California, when we see game, we usually have a rifle or something. If you would like to be in that category, I would be more than happy to make your,
I'm not sure I want to be the game.
I'll be in the game, not the game.
Not really. It's a good question and stuff. I still enjoy and really love reading box scores. It just kind of tells the story of what happens in 3 hours. So I've enjoyed all that aspect. I still do. I mean, Ron, that was one of the ways I prepared for a game. You look and you say, well, who's driving in runs? Who's going 0 for 4? Who's striking out, et cetera, when your next start is against those guys. And but 40 years is a long time. I'm doing something else which I really like to do. And as long as that lasts, it's fine with me. Yeah. And you know what? Very few airplanes that way.
Cabrera up the middle, and that keeps the inning going for the Yankees. 7th hit off Jeremy Gonzalez, and Randy Johnson will come up with 2 out and 2 on.
You know, one thing I'll ask you, Ron, too, that I've seen the kid Bannister, because I played with his dad in Chicago, and I saw him the young man in spring training last year. What do you tell me about it?
Well, he really pitched well. He was 2-0 in the beginning of the season, pulled a hamstring. Went down, made a rehab start yesterday. Again,
got hurt again.
Pulled it again.
What's the stuff? What's he got? Good stuff?
Yeah, he's more of a fastball, 4-pitch pitcher. Good changeup, mixes it up. He's not one of those guys going to blow you away, but he really knows how to pitch. He came up went to USC as a second baseman.
Right. Yep.
That's what he wanted to do, but it didn't work out. His stuff is good because he has 4 pitches and he throws strikes.
Right.
Smart, has a lot of poise. I'm sure his father had a lot to do with that.
Throw strikes. And get ahead of your hitter.
Yeah.
First pitch strikes.
And amazingly, when he didn't throw strikes early in the season, had tremendous wherewithal for pitching out of trouble, which you love to see in a young guy.
That's especially a guy that doesn't do well as far as throwing hard, and he has to learn how to do that too. You know, if you can't strike somebody out, then you have to put the ball in play where you want it put into play. You know, I've heard from more than one person. You're talking about he's a very, very bright young man.
Yeah, he's really bright, and he does what you told me when I first came up. There's 4 or 5 outs you got to get as a starting pitcher if you want to be successful.
Randy Johnson up the middle. Reyes smothers it to prevent the run. And that's a good job by Reyes to knock that ball down, and that keeps Stinnett from scoring.
Well, this is what you do as a middle infielder. With 2 outs, you got to make sure that if you can't make the play, you dive and keep it in the infield, which Reyes does. Beautiful play here. And once he kept it in the infield, the Stinnett could not score, and it gives his pitcher another chance to get out of the inning.
Well, you talk about those outs you've got to get. Here you are right now.
And you never know when they come. You know, it's not always the 7th and 8th inning. You could have one in the first,
That's absolutely right. Yep.
Bases loaded, 2 out. Yankees up 5-3, and Damon takes ball 1.
It's actually a 2-step process. It looks like maybe he got hurt here, or the little finger he got jammed maybe.
I think you watch his glove hand kind of rolls over on it, on his wrist. Lucky he didn't hurt it more.
2-0 to Damon.
One of the things we talked about too, you do need, say, 5 outs in a 9-inning ball game. You need certain 5 outs if you're going to win. You got to recognize them first. And sometimes they're very subtle. They're very subtle. You get an out when you can get the big bomber up leading off the next inning, so he doesn't have a chance to hit the 3-run home run.
Get the 8th guy out with a couple guys on, have the pitcher leading off the next inning.
Absolutely. A lot of times it's the number 8 hitter in the lineup that is so incredibly important.
Stinnett at third, Cabrera at second, and the big unit at first. You saw Darren Oliver up in the bullpen. Damon lifts one to left shallow, but Valentin in. And so the big out recorded by Gonzalez. He holds the Yankees to his 1 run in the top of the 3rd. Stay with us for the bottom of the inning.
We're heading back to Manhattan right now as we speak, but good to see you guys.
Thanks for coming, Tom.
Say hi to everybody I didn't see today.
Let's say Reyes having that left hand and wrist looked at.
You know, it's very similar to what happened to Hideki Matsui. When he came in the outfield, the glove got underneath him and it turned over. And watch as he dives for it and kind of just all of his body weight lands on that left wrist.
Does it help at all having your wrist taped when that happens?
It will help because it'll keep it a little firmer than it would be naturally. So that might help.
You see he's pulling on his fingers.
Well, a lot of times you're pulling your fingers here to get some life into that hand because it gets numb right away.
Beltran hit a 3-run homer his first time up. Now his 11 for the year. Remember, he only hit 16 all of last season. And we're just a quarter of the way through the season. 1-2 to Beltran.
I think that goes with he's taking a lot more pitches out of the strike zone. That's why he's walking. So when he's centering the ball, that's why he's getting his home runs. He's getting that pitch to hit.
27 walks already, after walking only 56 times all last season. So the numbers in that regard, the walks and the home runs, both up, and they are related.
They are related. I think that what he's going to have to do, though, on some of those at-bats is if he can start driving the ball the other way a little bit, I think it'll help his average.
2-2 to Beltran. Strikes him out with a slider. 3rd strikeout for Randy Johnson.
Well, Johnson throwing a little better slider. You can see when he's got his good one, the batters will be out on their front foot, and they'll miss it by 3 or 4 inches as it dives down and into the right-handed hitters.
So 1 out and nobody on. Here's Delgado. Mets had 3 runs home, and Delgado followed with a single before Johnson recorded an out, but the Mets have not had another hit since. And Delgado, who has been hit by 7 pitches already this season, really got plunked again.
I see Stinnett setting up inside. That's where you have to pitch Delgado, whether you're a left-hander or a right-hander. You got to show him that you can throw strikes inside, which he didn't there.
1-1 to Carlos. Well, I think we've talked a lot about Randy tonight and his struggles, and I think maybe the best illustration is that lefties are hitting .281 against him this year. It used to be lefties didn't get a sniff.
Well, they used to get Johnsonitis. As soon as he was on the mound, they had a little, sniffle.
To short. And Jeter, with plenty of time, throws out Delgado 2 away. So 2 out and nobody on. Let's take a look at today's pitcher's high speed, brought to you by Verizon Online DSL, now at a great low price. Randy topping out at 95 and Jeremy Gonzalez at 91.
I used to be able to count on one hand the left-handers around the league that would stay in the lineup when Randy Johnson pitched. It was almost entirely a right-handed lineup.
Here's David Wright, who struck out his first time up. Remember when John Olerud homered against Randy in the playoffs in '99? It was the first home run by a left-hander in 2 years against him. Last year he gave up only 1 home run to a lefty, but he also gave up 31 home runs to right-hand batters, which was maybe a little bit of a sign of age. Wright rips one foul as he got ahead of that slider. 2-1.
Randy was always a guy that would really push off violently off the mound, all arms and legs at you. Of course, his height was a big factor, but watch his back leg. It doesn't really push off, and it almost stays behind him. See how that left leg just stays back there 1 extra second? Should give you a little better look here as he's trying to throw this fastball. You see this leg just stays back there, and now it comes through. That's a big delay. That means you're not pushing off hard.
And Wright has a base hit. David Wright with a 2-out single. And the Mets will get the tying run to the plate with Xavier Nady. Oh, remember also that Randy Johnson has had significant physical problems with his knee and with his back. And you wonder whether that has something to do with it.
I think he might be overcompensating sometimes for those injuries, as showed Ron Guidry on the bench, the pitching coach for the Yankees, and no one got more out of his back leg than Ron Guidry. Not a very big guy, probably in his prime, maybe 5'11", 165 pounds, and he was just a whirling dervish of pushing off that mound and coming at you. There's Gator.
Louisiana Lightning.
He was co-captain of the Yankees with Willie Randolph from '86 to '89.
Nady lifts one to right center, pretty deep. Cabrera and Damon near the wall, and it's out of here. Xavier Nady ties the game with a 2-run homer. Ninth home run of the year for Nady, and it's 5-5. And boy, did that ball carry to right center field.
Well, both Damon and Cabrera, as they were running for the ball, kept looking at each other. You got it, I got it, you got no one's got it as that ball clears the fence. Nady has shown some amazing power. They got him because they thought he was going to be a solid RBI guy, and he has shown a lot of power for the Mets early in this season.
Met fans want a curtain call. Matsui takes 1-1.
By the way, I would never take a curtain call if Randy Johnson was on the mound. No way.
It's 9 home runs that Johnson's given up now this year. And an ugly cut by Matsui, 1-2. Well, Randy appeared to be settling in. He retired Beltran and Delgado to start this inning, but Wright with a 2-out single, and Nady made him pay, and the game is even. And Matsui rips one foul. Kaz lined out to left his first time up. That's like a rusty wig.
It's an interesting hairstyles today.
Darren Oliver up again in the bullpen. And Matsui hits it toward left center field, but Damon will get over. And that ends the inning. But the Mets get even against Randy Johnson, who had himself a 4-0 lead. Now it's gone. Nady with a 2-run homer. And the game is even 5-5 as we go to the 4th at Shea. Well, Jeremy Gonzalez put the Mets in an early hole, but the Mets have gotten him out of that hole. So we start fresh in the 4th inning. Derek Jeter leads off. Jeter 1 for 2. He's driven in a run. And he fouls the first one back. Jeter now with 30 runs batted in on the year, hitting second in the order. This is a Yankee lineup which before the season began looked like one of the most potent in the majors in years. They're averaging nearly 5.8 runs per game, but they have certainly had much of their production taken out of the middle of the lineup, with Matsui out for at least 3 or 4 months, and Sheffield having missed a couple of weeks and probably going to miss a couple more. One and 2 to Jeter. Jeter has had a habit of being right in the middle of things against the Mets during these Subway Series games. Never had a more important hit against the Mets, though, than leading off Game 4 of the World Series in 2000. First pitch from Bobby Jones, he hit it over the left field fence. And, you know, the thing about Jeter is he has such a great sense of the moment. The Mets had won Game 3. They'd gotten back to 2-1. First pitch of Game 4, gone.
I remember I was here. Reminded me of the third game in the 1986 World Series, where we had to win it. Lenny Dykstra led off with a home run off Oil Can Boyd.
Gonzalez ahead on Jeter, 1 and 2. This is a little low.
Well, he's an amazing player to see Giambi on deck, but he's one of the players, to tell you the truth, when I look at players today, I wish I could spend a season playing with him, just to watch him every day and how he goes about his work.
3 and 2 to Jeter. Well, so much of baseball now is consumed with statistics above all else. And this is a guy who simply transcends statistics. Over the bag, fair ball. Ball dies as it hits something under the ball boy's stool. He got the stool out of the way, but I think it hit one of the balls or the towels and slowed down. Didn't affect the play, though. Jeter stops at second.
Well, another fastball up in the strike zone. That has been the problem with Jeremy Gonzalez. That's probably the reason that he's only going to go 3 innings and a batter tonight.
Well, that's going to be it for Gonzalez. Darren Oliver will come in the game. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Singular Wireless, raising the bar. Gonzalez exits after 3 innings plus with the game tied at 5. Jeremy Gonzalez out of the game after 3 innings plus, and those were the numbers starting the night, and they're only going to get more disparate after tonight. Martinez and Glavine versus the rest of the starting pitching staff, and it's one of the reasons why Omar Minaya told us tonight that they're going to sit down and re-examine every available option.
What happened if Darren Oliver has a nice 3-4 innings tonight? Do you consider him? He's been a starter.
Well, if he can get through Jason Giambi, it'll be quite a feat, as you see the numbers there. 22 for 35, 629 Giambi against Oliver, and he hits him in the back. Well, the batting average won't change.
Trying to start him out with a first pitch curveball, never does break. Giambi, a big guy, just takes it in the back.
Third base.
Well, it sets up the double play.
A-Rod
during the break.
Yeah, usually the hitters will go in there and they'll have some charts, or they'll talk to someone who knows the pitcher and try to make sure. Here, Don Mattingly, hitting coach, is saying, this is the book we have on him. This is what to expect.
A-Rod 6 for 15 against Oliver with a couple of home runs, and he takes a strike. 2 years ago, Alex Rodriguez went 3 for 24 against the Mets and did not have a single hit in the 3 games played here at Shea. Last year, a completely different story. He hit .609 against the Mets, 14 for 23 in his second year in this rivalry. And he has a hit and a walk his first 2 trips today. There you see the contrast. Well, the Mets in their bullpen in the 4th inning. And Oliver gets ahead on A-Rod 0-2.
Well, with respect to Donnie's wife, that's his little baseball black book.
It's a lot smaller than Delgado's book. But it seems to be heavily indexed. 0-2 to A-Rod. Oliver keeps it away. 1-2. Oliver pitched yesterday in St. Louis, worked a 1-2-3 inning, and the Mets lost to the Cardinals. For Darren, this is now his 13th appearance. He's been the long man when the Mets have needed one. And as a long man, that means you get irregular work. One and 2 to Rodriguez. Jeter at second, Giambi at first, and nobody out. So Floyd with the night off tonight. I get the feeling we might see Cliff before this one's over.
I think we might see both rosters by the time this one's over.
The Yankees have already had to go to their bench for their backup catcher, Kelly Stinnett, which has Miguel Cairo on alert, I'm sure, because Cairo, the former Met, almost certainly is the Yankees' emergency catcher. On the outside corner, strike 3 called, and A-Rod does not like it one bit. Alfonso Marquez assures him it was a strike. 1 away.
Well, as A-Rod says, no way, as he walks away. Darren Oliver with this backdoor slider curveball. Rodriguez is saying that it's going around the plate, as you'll see up top, and he might be right.
Close enough, though. So 1 away, and a chance for Oliver to get through this inning with a ground ball from Kelly Stinnett. And he throws the breaking ball inside. Stinnett came on when Posada left the game, right before the bottom of the second, with tightness in his upper back. He went out to warm up Randy Johnson and just took himself out of the game. Stinnett, who played with the Mets early in his career. One and 1 to Kelly, whose nickname appropriately is Grinder. And he is exactly that. Terrific guy. He's been a wonderful backup catcher for years in the big leagues. There's Miguel Cairo, hoping Stinnett stays healthy.
Well, you can see the cat. Yeah, exactly. You can see the cat and mouse game between Oliver, Jeter, and Matsui, trying to keep Jeter close, because Jeter will try to steal a bag occasionally in this situation.
Jeter's already stolen a base tonight. Has 7 for the year. Mets have not turned a lot of double plays this year, but they could sure use one for Oliver right now. And that's last in the league at turning 2. Of course, they're also first in the league in strikeouts, which negates a lot of double plays. Base hit to left field. Jeter around third, waved home by Larry Bowie. He'll score without a throw, and the Yankees regain the lead 6-5. Well, Kelly Stinnett off the bench to replace the injured Posada. He's 2 for 2, and now he's driven in the lead run.
Well, this pitch catches the middle of the plate as Oliver's trying to throw that pitch away. You saw LaDuca set up away, and that was the same pitch that he threw to A-Rod. Tried to backdoor a pitch. That one caught the plate, and Stinnett delivered.
That run is charged to Jeremy Gonzalez, so he's back on the hook. Final line on Gonzalez: 3 innings plus, 6 runs, 9 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Here's Cano, and he rockets one to center, but right at Beltran, 2 away. Cano hitting it hard for a 3rd straight time. Previous time up, hit one to the fence that Beltran reeled in for a sacrifice fly. This time a laser beam right at Beltran.
Well, all 3 pitchers that have pitched so far in the game haven't been fooling too many people.
So 2 out and 2 on. Gonzalez looks on, hoping that Oliver can minimize the damage and give the Mets a chance to bounce back again.
You really see it on his face. He knew how important this start was. Had a chance to get himself in that rotation, and not to be.
There's Bernie Williams, 1 for 2. And Bernie has great numbers against Darren Oliver. 12 for 30, a .400 batting average with 3 home runs. This hasn't been an easy club for Mr. Oliver. 2-0 to Bernie.
I'm thinking maybe there were a lot of short nights for Darren when he was in Texas playing in Yankee Stadium.
And yet his career record against the Yankees is 6-3. So go figure.
How do you do it? Amazing.
On 2-0, Bernie pulls one foul. Well, arguably the best and most important game of Oliver's career was against the Yankees in the 1996 Division Series. He pitched against the Yankees in Texas, shut them out for 8 innings, had a 2-0 lead going to the 9th. They left him in because the Rangers didn't have a bullpen, and he wound up getting charged with 3 runs and a 3-2 loss. But he was brilliant that night. Breaking ball toward the hole. Reyes with the backhand play to third, not in time. Well, Reyes did everything that he could, and again made sure he kept it on the infield first, then tried to get the force just a shade too late on Giambi.
Sometimes you make great defensive plays where you don't get an out, and he did that when Gonzalez in the 2nd inning, 3rd inning, excuse me, and here again, like you said, Gary, kept it in the infield, tried to get the ball to right on time, but Giambi just beat it out. Good play by Reyes. Gives Oliver another chance to get out of this inning against Melky Cabrera.
Bases loaded, 2 down. Cabrera has been intentionally walked and singled, and he hits one to third, and Wright will go to first with it, and that ends the inning. So Reyes saved a run in the 3rd. He saves another run in the 4th, and it's 6-5 Yankees as we go to the bottom of the 4th at Shea.
Hi, my name's Ashley.
We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's been quite an offensive performance on both sides as Jose Valentin leads off against Randy Johnson and takes ball 1, and yet it's a 6-5 game. Could have been a whole lot worse for the Mets if not for Jose Reyes the last 2 innings.
Saved 2 runs at least.
Valentin swings at the slider, 1-1.
Talked about Valentin yesterday with that home run. Also had a walk and scored a couple of runs. Walked in his first at bat.
Also stole his first base of the year. Tapped weakly. A-Rod charging. 1 away. So 1 out and nobody on, and Darren Oliver, a pretty good hitting pitcher, will bat for himself. So we'll get the Dodge trivia question. Question is, how many times have the Mets entered a Subway Series with the better record? Tell you that this is the first time this season that the Mets have ever entered a series against the Yankees in first place. Oliver takes a strike. Willie Randolph wanted to get as many innings as he can out of Oliver, who came on with nobody out in the 4th. Oh, 0-2 to Oliver. You see Randy's pitch count more than he'd like it to be in the 4th inning. And he strikes out Oliver on 3 pitches. That's the 4th strikeout for Johnson. 2 out and nobody on.
The shortstop, Jose Reyes.
So Randy trying to do something that he has not done yet in this game, and that is put up a 0 after his team scores for him. Yankees got 4 in the top of the 1st. Beltran's 3-run homer got most of it back in the bottom of the 1st. Yankees added a run in the 3rd. Nady's 2-run homer tied it in the bottom of the 3rd. Reyes takes a strike. Now the Yankees go in front on Kelly Stinnett's RBI single. And Randy's gotten the first 2 outs. And Reyes has a 2-out hit. Takes a turn on Cabrera and holds up. Of the 3 Yankee outfielders today, Melky Cabrera is the only one who can throw at all. Johnny Damon and Bernie Williams have distinctly poor arms. To answer the Dodge trivia question, how many times have the Mets entered a Subway Series with a better record? The answer is this is the 3rd. July 2000, May 2005, and today. So now Reyes aboard with 2 down, representing the tying run. We'll see whether he can get a read on Johnson here as LaDuca stands in.
As opposed to the 1st inning when it was 4-0 and you shouldn't steal a base then. Now is the time, if he can get a read, to go. Try to get in scoring position for LaDuca with 2 outs.
Remember, Johnson retired the first 2 in the 3rd. Wright got a hit and Nady hit a 2-run homer. Retired the first 2 here in the 4th, and now Reyes aboard. A pitch out, but he's not going anywhere. We have seen very few teams pitch out against Reyes this year. Why do you suppose that is?
I don't know, because you would think that at one point you'd want to do it 1 or 2 times a game, but I think that managers don't like to pitch out and it not work, as they see both players staring right through each other.
He got him picked off. Giambi runs him. Cano runs him back. Reyes is safe at first. The Yankees botch the rundown and Reyes gets out of it. Lee Mazzilli's just beside himself. Yankee bench coach.
Well, Reyes gets picked off and he knows he's out, so he's going to get in that rundown, and he has such great speed that Robinson Cano just did not know how fast he was. He should have thrown the ball, but this is the thing that has bothered Cano. Not only has he made errors, but his instincts as an infielder are not great.
Well, you had Randy Johnson standing right there waiting for the throw, but Cano never made it, and Reyes got back safely. So the inning continues. Let's see if the Mets can take advantage.
Johnson has thrown over 2 times in a row. Very rarely do pitchers throw over 3 times in a row.
Two 2-0 to LaDuca. Randy using that. It's not even a slide step. It's no step.
Kind of just lets gravity take over as he throws. Almost like playing catch.
And you wonder whether that affects his control.
It's a pretty big breath for the 4th inning.
He's not used to dealing with pesky things like base runners.
That's
I mean, Doc Gooden never really learned how to hold runners on.
right.
For years, he never had to.
Just strike out the next 2. What's the difference?
Doesn't matter if he's at first or at third. Reyes the tying run with 2 down. He's running. Ball 3. Stinnett's throw is not in time. 15th stolen base of the year for Reyes, and so he's in scoring position.
What a nice job by Jose Reyes. Johnson throwing over, slide stepping, pitching out, doing everything he can to try to hold Reyes close. Still not successful. This 1-hop bounce, Cano had to make the play upstairs there, and it allowed Reyes to go underneath.
Now it's 3-0 to Loduca with Beltran on deck. So a base hit could tie the game. Ball 4. Third walk given up by Johnson. And whether the Mets get even in this inning or not, again, Randy gets the first 2 outs, but then has to work very hard, building his pitch count even higher, so that even if he gets through the inning, it's going to make it that much tougher on him.
Well, you see he is taking some big breaths out there, because when you have a pesky base runner on, it takes a lot out of you as a pitcher, and sometimes takes your concentration away from the hitter.
Beltran already has a 3-run homer tonight. Takes ball 1. This was in the first inning with 2 on. And he clubbed one to the back of the bullpen in left field. And Beltran has 6 for 13 against Randy Johnson in his career. Ball 2.
Well, this is a situation, as you see Delgado on deck, that, you know, Johnson has been put in this position to try to pick up one of his teammates, because, I mean, he should be out of the inning. In the major league level, he should be able to execute a rundown.
2 on and 2 out. 2-0 to Beltran. 2-1. That pitch count for Randy Johnson now up to 85 here in the 4th inning. Beltran now with 28 RBIs, 1 behind Delgado for the club lead. Fouls it at the plate. Reyes the tying run at second. Loduca at first with 2 down. 6-5 Yankees, bottom of the 4th. And this is only the first of 6 games between these two teams. We're in the 4th inning. It's exhausting.
Well, Willie Randolph, I bet, would love Darren Oliver to try to give him a couple of innings, try to get this game deeper.
Well, the luxury that Willie has today is that he knows he has Pedro and Glavine the next 2 days. So he will use his whole bullpen if he has to try and win this game tonight. 2-2 to Beltran. Hit in the air to left center field. Playable for Damon. And that ends the inning. So Randy Johnson works out of 2-out trouble in the 4th and carries a 6-5 lead into the 5th. Here's the Toyota line score. Yankees with a 6-5 lead. They already have 11 hits, and Randy Johnson will take the turn at bat here in the 5th with already 87 pitches under his belt in 4 innings. Darren Oliver comes inside.
I don't know if that's an answer to the inside pitch that Johnson threw Delgado, but the ball almost clipped him.
If Randy exposes his pitching arm, left-hand pitcher batting right-handed, so he wears that elbow guard. Randy had an infield hit, ball that Reyes knocked down in the 3rd. And Oliver strikes him out, 1 away. Second strikeout for Darren Oliver.
The center fielder, Johnny Damon.
1 down, and Johnny Damon the batter. There was so much talk about Damon when he signed with the Yankees having to cut his hair. I learned something about Johnny that I didn't know. That hair has always been something of an issue with him. Apparently when he was in junior high school, he was a little bit rebellious, and he shaved one side of his head completely and left the other side long, so that when he went to the caveman look with the Red Sox, that was mild for him.
A step back.
Yeah. Weak ground ball. Matsui has to hurry, and he gets Damon, who's still not running 100%, and there are 2 away.
The shortstop, Derek Jeter.
Mets Yankees, game 1. It's the series that divides families and brings them together. And it's also friendly. Derek Jeter takes ball 1. Jeter 2 for 3, single and a double. He's scored 2. He's driven in 1. Typical Jeter night against the Mets. One and 1 to Derek. I've seen the one on the right before that. White.
Yeah, I haven't seen that
Mets
either.
logo.
Almost looks like a Dodger hat, Los Angeles Dodger hat with the New York Met emblem on it.
Coexisting with the Yankee fans next to them. And Matsui picks it off, and Oliver has himself a 1-2-3 inning. We've come halfway in game 1 at Shea. 6-5 Yankees.
Heading to the bottom of the 5th inning, Mets trailing the Yankees 6-5 here at Shea Stadium. Chris Cotter along with Brooklyn native Alyssa Milano. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. We're literally like on the field right now. It's
How big
amazing.
of a baseball fan are you?
Huge. I grew up watching the Yankees on my dad's lap.
So more of a Yankees fan than a Mets fan?
I'm a Dodgers fan, so although I love the Mets, I feel a little guilty cheering for them because I feel like my seats at Dodger Stadium, they're gonna know. You know?
I gotcha. Now, Charmed, you just finished filming up not only the season finale but the series finale. Is that right?
Yeah, and it airs on Sunday. Yeah, after 8 years.
That must be a strange feeling. 8 years and then you're that's it.
It's a very weird dichotomy because obviously creatively I was ready to move on, but it's really sad to say goodbye to all your friends and, you know, just break those habits of going to work every day.
Now, you started as an actress when you were, what, 7 years of age?
Yeah.
Our play-by-play man, Gary Cohen, started calling games at age 7, so you have that in common with him as well.
That's awesome.
And Carlos Delgado goes out on strikes. David Wright coming up to bat. Now, one final question for you. Who's the boss? That was a long-running series, and that finishes. And then Charmed, a long-running series, and that finishes. It's almost like your whole life you've been doing these 2 series in television. What's up next for you?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure. I'm taking the next 6 months and just going to try to figure it out. You know, I have a bunch of stuff in development that I'm working on, and I'm enjoying my time and my freedom, and we'll see what happens.
You know, I think that sounds like a good idea. I'm going to take the next 6 months and figure out what I'm going to do as well. Gary, Ron?
Thank you very much, Chris. I feel so old.
She's too young to have stuff in development, isn't she?
I mean, really.
Although I think that's Hollywood talk.
Tremendously talented.
She is.
Right toward the right field line. Cabrera lets it drop in. And David Wright has his second hit, and the Mets have the tying run aboard.
Well, this pitch is a good pitch by Randy Johnson. It's off the outside corner. Wright, though, with great plate coverage, hits it off the end of the bat. And Cabrera, who got a bad jump on it, wasn't able to get it. Look at that contact. Look at that head right on the ball. That's picture perfect right there, and a tough pitch from Johnson.
So let's see if David Wright thinks about stealing a base. You got Nady at the plate, who had a 2-run homer his last time up. Mets down 6-5 as they bat in the 5th. David has 7 steals and 8 tries this year. Doesn't have a very big lead. Nady hit his 9th home run of the year in the 3rd inning to tie the game at 5. Now has 22 runs batted in. 0-1 to Nady.
Well, Wright's hit, the pitch from Johnson, you could see where the ball is. It's off the corner, but he's still able to cover that outside part, and I think that's really key for anyone who's hitting. You see a lot of hitters, they dig in the box, but they dig in where they make sure that that bat can cover the outside part.
1-1. Oh, that's a strike. And Nady can't believe it, and frankly, neither can I. That's a bizarre strike.
Well, that ball's definitely inside, but a good job by Kelly Stinnett of trying to keep that glove on the inside part, but that, as you saw, was inside.
Well, we've seen Alfonso Marquez several times this year have a floating strike zone. So now Nady finds himself in an 0-2 hole. That was a great shot of Wright's eyes going back and forth.
What they're doing sometimes is, if you get on first base, occasionally not only looking at Johnson, but if you're in the mode where you're not going to run, you can sometimes take a peek and see what the catcher is calling. And you'll see a lot of base runners will do that, because if they see a breaking ball called, that would be a pitch. It would be better for you to steal on than a fastball, of course. See him? Just looking in at the catcher's signs.
1-2 to Nady.
And then the job of the catcher is to make sure that he hides those signs, but some do not.
Well, they use that catcher's mitt to shield the third base coach, but it's a little harder to shield from the first base runner.
And depending on the lights at a stadium, some places the catchers have to give a bigger sign. What I mean by that, not a bigger sign, but they have to kind of open their legs a little more to give, so it's easier for the pitcher to see. Some ballparks are very dark near the catcher as he squats down. So we'll watch Kelly Stinnett, and we'll see what, as he looks to the bench for the signs and to give Randy Johnson whether to throw over or to pitch out. He's got it now, so now he knows what sign he's going to give. And he is. Stinnett's trying to hide them by pushing that right knee in.
Looking like he's very conscious of Wright trying to pick it up.
Catchers are just great students of the game. They see things very quickly.
That's why so many of them become managers. Nady keeps the at bat alive.
There used to be a catcher that in day games, when he didn't wear a sleeve, you could see him giving a changeup. You could see his forearm rippling. So guys would look for different things like that. You know, the changeup, of course, is a sign to wiggle your fingers. Sometimes that forearm, if you're really muscular, will wiggle also. Stinnett again going to the bench for signs. Fastball away.
1-2 to Nady. Goes with it. Cano runs it down. 2 away as Wright moves to second. Well, just didn't have enough juice to get through the infield.
The second baseman.
And now the tying run in scoring position with 2 down for Matsui. Pitches for Randy Johnson, and not yet through the 5th. Matsui is lined to left and fly to center. Kaz is hitting just .138 this year with runners in scoring position, looking to pick up Wright from second with 2 down. Another switch hitter. Valentin waits on deck. Matsui, as a right-hand batter, is now just 2 for 18 to start the season. So the numbers are working against him. 1-1. Willie Randolph thought about using Chris Woodward at second base tonight against the lefty, but Kaz had yesterday off, and he wanted to get him back in there today. Matsui has a home run against Randy. He hit one last year. And he takes out a couple of bodies in the Yankee dugout. Save yourself. Right at second and 2 down. 6-5 Yankees, bottom of the 5th. Matsui pops it foul. Will go out of play. Beltran and Delgado hoping Matsui can come through. Mets were down 4-0 and 5-3. Now down 6-5. Joe Torre knows that he's going to have to use a lot of bullpen today. Willie Randolph already has. 2-2 to Matsui. Randy Johnson 5-4 on the year, but over his last 4 starts, lugging around a 7.17 ERA. Aaron Heilman up early in the Mets bullpen. Pitcher's spot 2 batters away. Matsui takes inside ball 3. So after Johnson got ahead of him, Kaz works the count full. A walk would put 2 men on and bring up Valentin. Pedro Feliciano joining Heilman in the bullpen. 106 pitches for Johnson. 3-2 to Matsui. Toward the hole, base hit. Here comes Wright. And the Mets tie up the ball game. Kaz Matsui comes through with a game-tying hit, and it's 6-6.
Well, we talked about it before. Johnson having a hard time putting away hitters, even when he has 2 strikes on him. Does not make the pitch on the 3-2 to Matsui. Matsui finds the hole, and we talked about the outfielders for the Yankees. They're probably not going to come close to throwing anyone out tonight.
Certainly not Bernie Williams in left or Johnny Damon in center, both with substandard arms. So now the Mets have drawn even for a second time, and here's Valentin. We'll see if Matsui can swipe a base. A pitch out, but he's not going. Kaz has just 2 steals this year, but he certainly has the speed to steal bases. Valentin has walked and grounded out 0 for 1. The Yankee bullpen is still quiet. Johnson's given up 6 runs and 8 hits in 4 2/3.
And these have been tough innings for Johnson. These are not just 5 run-of-the-mill innings. As you see, no one working down there for the Yankees. He's had guys on base. He's given up big hits. Gone 3-2. And many of the hitters.
It started poorly for Johnson. He had a 4-0 lead. Gave back 3 of the runs before recording an out. So he's been under duress. 2-0 to Valentin, and that time it looked like he pushed the ball up to the plate.
Pushed it up there, and you saw the shot at Kaz Matsui. He's trying to time Johnson, trying to steal a base. Just he has nothing on his back leg. You see how he's just kind of like this. That would look like the first toss you throw when you're trying to get warm, when you're warming up.
2-0 to Valentin. Bouncer to third. Knocked down, no play, fair ball. A-Rod boots it, and the inning continues.
Well, this ball right on the line. Comes up a little bit, but A-Rod looking back thinks it was going to be foul, but hard for the umpire to make that call. He was between, A-Rod's between the ball and the umpire.
Well, it's the home plate umpire's call since it didn't reach the bag. But it was a fair ball. 7th error of the year for A-Rod. And now Chris Woodward will bat for Darren Oliver with 2 on and 2 out. And how far can Joe Torre keep going with Johnson? He finally gets somebody up in the bullpen. But Randy's going to have to face at least one more batter. Now that is the former Met Scott Erickson up in the bullpen for the Yankees. Erickson's been a starting pitcher most of his career. It takes him a while to get ready. So here's Woodward with 2 on and 2 out. Game tied at 6. And he takes a strike. And that's as crisp a pitch as Randy's thrown in this inning.
Now, if you're a pitching coach and watching Randy pitch right now, you can see that he's laboring.
And he finds the inside corner again. It's 0-2. 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and that's Randy Johnson really reaching back.
Well, one of his strengths, he's always been a great competitor, trying to get the Yankees out of this inning.
0-2 to Woodward, who's hitting .265. Check swing grounder. And Giambi makes the play, side retired. But the Mets get even on Kaz Matsui's 2-out RBI hit. It's 6-6 as we go to the 6th. We go to the 6th inning. Jason Giambi talking things over with Don Mattingly before he comes to bat against the new Met pitcher Aaron Heilman. Good game, huh? Huh, Derek? Having
First
fun?
baseman, Jason Giambi.
This really has been some ball game right from the first pitch.
Well, Aaron Heilman in the game. If it's a battle of the bullpens as Scott Erickson continues to throw for the Yankees, then that advantage that you might have seen in the beginning game, Randy Johnson against Jeremy Gonzalez, maybe swings the Mets side with Heilman.
Giambi leads off in the 6th inning in a tie game and takes the changeup for a strike. Heilman last worked on Tuesday night in St. Louis, working a perfect inning. This is now Aaron's 18th appearance of the year, working to a 1.69 ERA. Giambi fouls one off Leduc, 0-2. The discussion re-entered today. Omar Minaya saying that the Mets will sit down with the brain trust and consider every available option for their starting rotation as Scott Proctor gets up in the Yankee bullpen, including Pelfrey and including Aaron Heilman. But Willie Randolph reiterated tonight that he believes that Heilman best serves this club right where he is. And he strikes out Giambi with a changeup. 1 out and nobody on.
Well, this is how Heilman gets out left-handers. He has that good 94-mile-an-hour gas, but his pitch to get them out is that good changeup. This one 85 miles an hour, good movement, just running out of the strike zone.
Hyundai Hopes and Heroes this season. Your Tri-State Hyundai dealers and WB11 team up to help kids strike out cancer. Every strikeout recorded by a Mets pitcher will add $100 to the Hope and Heroes Children's Cancer Fund. If you'd like to help, call 212-305-1420 for more information. 6 strikeouts tonight. 3 for Gonzalez, 2 for Oliver, and now 1 for Heilman. Mets lead the National League in strikeouts. A-Rod 1 for 2 and a walk. Caught looking by Oliver his last time up, much to his displeasure. Another changeup from Heilman, 0-2.
Well, good changeup. This starts on the outside corner and goes straight down. You know, Willie was talking about Aaron Heilman, and he serves the club better in the bullpen just because of the ability to get right-handers out, but also just so good against the lefties.
It gives the Mets incredible depth in that bullpen with Juaner Sanchez and Heilman setting up for Wagner.
He has a little bit of an unusual 3-quarter delivery. As you see this fastball, a good spin on it.
1-2 to A-Rod. Hit toward the gap in right center field and deep. Nady back at the wall. He makes the grab. Nady got a nice jump on that ball, and that ball was not hit a very high trajectory at all, but Nady was able to get back and get it.
He did a great job of just running to the spot. He almost overran it as he snow coned it, but he did a good job of running to where he thought the ball was going to be, looking up, and he was there in plenty of time.
So 2 out and nobody on, and it brings up Kelly Stinnett up for the 3rd time after taking over for Jorge Posada, who left with a tight back. And Stinnett takes a strike, and Stinnett is chipped in 2 for 2, and he drove in the go-ahead run in the 4th inning. Mets then tied it in the bottom of the 5th on Kaz Matsui's 2-out hit, and that's where we are, 6-6 in the 6th. 0-2 to Stinnett.
I was saying that Heilman's delivery, that little 3-quarter delivery, I think it's great coming out of the pen. It gives the batters a new place, release point to look for, and I think that's one of the advantages he has when he comes out of the pen.
Met fans revving it up for Heilman. 0-2. Tapper. And Heilman with the long underhand toss, and he gets the Yankees 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's Shea still tied at 6. Let them know it's a good game. This has been a wild affair. It's 4-3 after 1, and both starting pitchers have now exited. Scott Proctor comes in to pitch for the Yankees.
Well, Scott Proctor, 29 years old, came over from the Dodgers with Bubba Crosby for Robin Ventura. Scott Proctor, I got to watch him pitch on Saturday at Yankee Stadium. Very impressive, and they're very impressed with his work. Throws 94 to 95 miles an hour. Good, sharp slider, but throws strikes and is a tough kid, so you like him in these kind of situations.
This season, the 6th inning means it's time to swing for sandwiches. If a Met hits a home run this inning, you can log on to WB11.com for your chance to score a $100 gift card at Subway. Reyes takes a strike. Jose has been on twice tonight with a walk and a single. He's stolen a base. He's scored a run and he even worked himself out of a rundown. Batting left-handed for the first time tonight. 0-2 to Reyes. Well, Randy Johnson's struggles continued tonight. As you look at the high fastball, Randy threw 113 pitches in 5 innings, allowed 6 runs and 8 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and 2 home runs. His ERA now 5.62. Paul LaDuca on deck, and then Carlos Beltran here in the bottom of the 6th.
Reyes trying to catch up to that fastball from Proctor. Proctor started his career as a starting pitcher, but really it was only a 2-pitch pitcher, better suited for relief.
Very good this year for the Yankees. Throws a breaking ball, and Reyes stops the swing. Mike Everett with the call. 1-2. Proctor last year had all sorts of trouble getting left-hand hitters out. They hit 300 against him.
Good job by Reyes. That's one of the pitches that always gives him trouble, that breaking ball down and in.
1-2 to Reyes. Pops it up. Foul. That'll come out of play.
One of the things that Reyes always works on is trying to step towards the pitcher. You can see his front foot, it turns out. That means that his right hip's got to come out, his right shoulder's got to come out. That's one of the things he always tries to work on, stepping towards the pitcher, trying to hit that ball up the middle.
Aaron Heilman after a perfect first inning of work. Hoping the Mets can get him a lead here in the 6th. Mets have not led tonight. They've come back twice to tie. Reyes again lays off the breaking ball. 2-2. Three and 2. Well, how many times tonight did we see Randy Johnson do this? Get ahead of a hitter and then be unable to slam the door on him.
Sort of what the Yankees do. Even though they get behind in the count, they will still work the pitcher and go deep in the count, as Reyes has done.
This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat to Reyes. Ball 4, and Reyes walks for the 2nd time tonight. This comes leading off the inning. And now the Mets have the go-ahead run aboard. Nobody out, and LaDuca coming up. And that's 18 walks for Reyes now. I think to a certain extent, Reyes being asked to look at more pitches messed him up early in the season, but I think, Ronnie, he's getting the hang of it.
I think he really is also. He's starting to, he just looks nice and quiet up there. He doesn't look jumpy or edgy. That's good to see.
Let's see if Proctor can hold him on. Reyes has already stolen 1 tonight, has 15 for the year. Last time he was aboard, Reyes was able to get out of this rundown when Cano forgot to throw the ball. Reyes subsequently stole second, but was stranded there. And Proctor keeping an eye on him. Loduca tonight has a bloop single and a walk. He's 1 for 2, and he's scored a run. Now he's hitting 7 straight games. Scott Proctor, who grew up right around the area where the Mets have spring training in Stuart, Florida, just south of Port St. Lucie. There goes Reyes. Loduca takes it high, and Stinnett's throw into the runner, and he got him. Great tag by Jeter.
Well, Kelly Stinnett could not get a better pitch to throw on as Reyes slides. Jeter just gets him on top of the helmet. Fine play by Derek Jeter. See, catches the ball, just gets him on the shoulder and the helmet before Reyes gets to the bag.
Now, it wasn't a perfect throw by Stinnett, but it was a perfect tag by Jeter. That's a great play. So 1 out and nobody on. Reyes is caught for the 5th time this year. And Loduca lifts one to center. Damon right there. 2 away. So 2 out and nobody on as we look at the JetBlue upcoming schedule. Day game tomorrow, night game Sunday, and we rejoin you Tuesday night where the Phillies come to town for the first of 3. Wednesday night and Thursday afternoon as well. Phillies, meanwhile, tonight are trailing the Red Sox 5-1 in the bottom of the 7th. Good news for the Mets, not so good for the Yankees, who came in a half game behind Boston. Beltran breaks his bat and grounds one to Cano, and Proctor through the inning. So the caught stealing helps Proctor get through the 6th inning. We go to the 7th, still tied at 6. Derek Jeter coming off the field after that last half inning. And being looked at by the trainer after extending that left arm to make the tag on Reyes.
Well, just like Ricky Henderson, who's taught a lot to Reyes, those bodies come hurling in there, and you can jam your shoulder.
As Cano takes a strike.
But your body's just out there, and you make the tag, but Reyes is going so fast that it kind of bends your shoulder back, as you can see. Derek Jeter's arm go wailing.
Cano has hit the ball hard 3 times in a row tonight. And it takes a strike from Heilmann, 0-2. Cano doubled to left center to drive in a run in the first, hit a 410-foot sacrifice fly in the 3rd, then hit a bullet to center that Beltran caught in the 4th. Robinson Cano came up in early May last year. And he strikes out as Heilmann gets him with the off-speed pitch, 1 away.
Well, that's a good changeup from Heilmann. The different rotation you'll see on this changeup. See that circle grip, and it comes out and it's spinning as it goes straight down. That spin on it makes that ball go down and run away from the lefty. That one, though, stayed inside.
So Heilmann is faced 4 and retired 4. Here's Bernie Williams, who's 2 for 3. Playing left field in the absence of Hideki Matsui. Takes a strike. The Yankees today put Bubba Crosby on the disabled list to join Matsui and Sheffield, and they called up a journeyman minor leaguer, Mitch Jones. The Yankee bench has really been depleted by all their injuries, and in a close game in a National League ballpark, that can really have an impact. Good change up by Heilmann. He's ahead on Williams, 0-2.
Well, you can see it coming out of his hand. He has that ball buried deep in his palm, and what you do is you throw it just like a fastball with that same motion, but because you have it jammed into your palm and the circle grip change, it puts a lot of spin on the ball. That takes the speed off it and gives it movement.
Ahead 0-2 to shortstop. Reyes in front of it. Throws out Williams, 2 away. 5 up, 5 retired by Aaron Heilmann.
You know, we were talking about that circle change. There's a lot of different ways to throw it, but the way you grip it usually is you hold it like this. You make a circle with your thumb and forefinger, and you grip it real deep in your palm. Your fastball would be out here, so you have it on the tip of your fingers. Circle change is way back in your palm. When you let it go, it comes off your fingers like this, spinning. And as the spin takes off the speed and makes it break. It's a great pitch. I could never learn it, but it was a great pitch. It's a very difficult pitch to master.
Certainly is working for Aaron Heilman as he throws a fastball to Cabrera, 1-0. Melky Cabrera 1 for 2 and an intentional walk. Pitcher Proctor for the moment has come out on deck. Change up, popped up. Right retreats. Side retired. Aaron Heilman has come out of the bullpen and retired 6 Yankees in a row. 7th inning stretch, still tied at 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Scott Proctor starts his 2nd inning of work. Walked Reyes leading off the 6th, but he was caught stealing, and Proctor retired the next 2. Now he'll take on Carlos Delgado. Jeter okay after hurting his shoulder on that tag of Reyes.
Take a lot to get him out of the lineup.
Especially now, as shorthanded as the Yankees are. Delgado 1 for 3, and he fouls one off. 0-1. Carlos Delgado started the night with more runs batted in interleague play than anybody else. 123 since interleague play began in '97. 1997, the Mets and Yankees met for the first time at Yankee Stadium on a June day, and it's a day that Met fans will never forget, as Dave Malicki pitched a complete game shutout. Bounced weakly to Giambi. 1 away. Malicki struck out Derek Jeter to end that shutout, with 20,000 Met fans screaming at Yankee Stadium as we look at the Major League scoreboard on the first day of interleague play. White Sox won their crosstown game with the Cubs. Tonight the Indians have a win over the Pirates, their 4th straight win. Cincinnati leading Detroit in the 9th. Florida leading in the Citrus Series. In the I-70 series, St. Louis and Kansas City tied up. In the Beltway series, Baltimore leading in the 8th. Game of interest to the Mets and Yankees. Red Sox up 5-3 on the Phillies as they go to the 8th. And Wright takes a breaking ball high, 1-0.
What a story Detroit is. You know, 7 straight coming into this game. Looks like they might be on the losing end of this, but Jim Leyland, a lot of people said that Leyland was done, that he didn't have, you know, the fire that you needed anymore to manage. Well, they got to take it back now, because he does, and he's got that team playing beautifully.
He's the Dick Vermeil of baseball. Lost the fire and got it back.
He doesn't cry as much as Dick Vermeil, though.
That's true. Smokes more, too. 1-1 to Wright, and he fouls it back.
I'll tell you, when Leyland was the manager, as we see Xavier Nady in the on-deck circle, manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, I was playing for the Mets. You just respected him so much. If you saw him off the field, he would always come over, shake your hand. How you doing? Just a real personal, nice man. And you really respected him because of how good a baseball man he was.
Wright is 2 for 3 on the day, and he hits one foul. David has singled twice and scored twice as we continue our look at the Toyota scoreboard. Texas leading Houston 2-1 in the 5th. Colorado-Toronto. Now there's a natural rivalry. Of course, the Blue Jays lost their natural rival when Montreal moved to Washington. And Proctor strikes out Wright with a high hard one, 2 away. First strikeout for Scott Proctor.
Well, he throws high gas, and you throw that hard and the pitch is up there, there's no way you're going to catch up to it. On the scoreboard there, we're looking at Oakland against San Francisco. Bonds is going to DH tonight. 4 for 26 since he hit his 713th home run. Pressure even affects Barry Bonds.
Here's Nady, 1 for 3, but that one was a 2-run homer, and he takes a strike. This was in the 3rd.
You and I were both surprised. We didn't know he caught it this well. Thought it was going to be a fly ball to right field, but some of those hitters, when you hit that high fastball, you get their reverse spin on it and just kept carrying.
1-1 to Nady. That one was almost as much of a surprise as the one Wilson Bedamid hit against Billy Wagner that went out a little bit more towards center field. Sometimes the ball here carries better than you expect. Nady fouls it off. I mean, there are days early in the season when you can hit one that would go 900 feet in any other park that stays in, but especially with a big crowd, gets a little warmer. Ball does fly. 1-2 to Nady, and Proctor misses high. Mets were down 4-0. Beltran hit a 3-run homer in the bottom of the first. Down 5-3. Nady hit a 2-run homer in the third to tie. Mets fell behind again and tied it on Matsui's hit in the fifth. And he pops this one up. Stinnett coming back. Side retired. So Scott Proctor contributes a 1-2-3 inning. Heilmann and Proctor doing their jobs. It's still 6-6. We go to the 8th inning here at Shea.
Pinch hitting for the Yankees.
Pitching has settled things down. Scott Proctor for the Yankees, Aaron Heilmann for the Mets, each contributing a couple of hitless innings. And Heilmann, who's thrown only 18 pitches in his 2 innings, will stay on for a third as Kevin Reese comes up to bat for Proctor. Dribbled back to Heilmann. 1 pitch and 1 retired. So Heilmann, with just 19 pitches, has retired 7 batters. 1 out and nobody on.
I think that's a good move also. The way that Heilmann's throwing, you just want to play the hot hand.
So here's Damon, led off the game with a double and scored. Since then he's popped up, flied out and grounded out, so he's 1 for 4. The Yankees had 11 hits in the first 4 innings, but they twice left the bases loaded. Remember the 2 big plays by Jose Reyes.
Keeping that ball in the infield both times. I see Kyle Farnsworth warming up in the Yankees bullpen. Keeping both of those balls in the infield, giving these pitchers another chance to get out of the inning, and they both did.
And Damon takes a strike, 1-1. Derek Jeter waiting on deck. One and 2 to Damon. Well, if Aaron Heilmann is in the discussion as far as joining the Mets rotation, this is the kind of performance that reminds people why he's so valuable out of the bullpen.
You have a starter go down early. Oliver came in through a couple of good innings, and now you have Heilmann to get you into the 8th inning.
Damon fouls it away. Talking to Omar Minaya earlier today, he didn't say it, but it sounded, just listening between the lines, as though he is seriously considering bringing up Mike Pelfrey sooner rather than later. There are other options. Evan McClain, young lefty who's doing well at Norfolk. Alay Soler, who's a little older, a Cuban pitcher pitching down at Binghamton. But they're seriously considering Pelfrey. 2-2 to Damon. And the hope was that Jeremy Gonzalez would go out and give them a second straight solid start tonight. But that didn't happen, which makes that back end of the rotation look that much shakier heading down the road. 2-2 to Damon. Ball 3. By the way, the news on Brian Bannister today, he had an MRI. It confirmed that the hamstring is not fully healed, so they're just going to send him to Florida and let him rest for a while. So it's going to be a while until Bannister's back. And Damon strikes out on the changeup. Aaron Heilmann has been magnificent. That's his 3rd strikeout. This week's Mets WB11 poll question is which New York team will have the better record. Well, 67% said Mets. 33% said Yanks. Log on to the WB11.com to vote on next week's poll. Well, here is Jeter. Tie game, 8th inning, 2 out and nobody on. Heilmann's retired 8 in a row. And Jeter bunting one. How about that? 2 out and nobody on.
Trying to bunt, thinking that he'll get on, steal a base. Look at this changeup to Johnny Damon, just way out in front, just took so much speed off it. And you have the ability to throw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball and come back with an 82-mile-an-hour change. It's just so hard for the hitters to sit on anything. Throws them both for strikes also.
He's had a great changeup tonight. 1-1 to Jeter.
And as you can see, he can throw his changes to both sides of the plate. Outside to left-handers as he did to Damon. And that time reached all the way out and got it on that outside part, outside the strike zone to Jeter outside. Well, another changeup inside. Check that. That was a fastball inside, not a changeup.
1-2 to Jeter. Changeup misses. 2-2. Six to 6. Keep the kids up late. $56,000 plus roaring. And Jeter stays alive. 56,289. They're packed into every crevice. It took a lot of people a long time to get to the ballpark tonight, but it's been worth every minute. Two to Jeter. Fouls another one off. To shortstop. Reyes throws low, scoop by Delgado, side retired. Delgado saves Reyes an error. Heilman retires 9 in a row, and it's still 6-6. Billy Wagner getting ready in the Mets bullpen to pitch the ninth, hoping the Mets can get him a lead in the bottom of the eighth against Kyle Farnsworth.
Well, Kyle Farnsworth last appearance is a perfect inning and a win versus Texas. Kyle Farnsworth, another hard thrower from the right side. Proctor reached 97 miles an hour on his fastball. Farnsworth has the ability to do that also. Pitched with Atlanta last year. Did a great job getting 10 saves down the stretch for the Braves.
Did a great job until his last appearance in Game 4 of the division series when he melted down in the ninth inning. And the Astros went on to win in 18 in a record-setting game. Kaz Matsui leads off in the bottom of the eighth. 1 for 3, drove in the tying run, and he drags a bunt. Farnsworth, though, off the mound, throws him out, 1 away. Good idea by Matsui, but he couldn't get it past the pitcher. 1 out. It'll bring up Jose Valentin. Valentin 0 for 2, but he's been on base twice on a walk and an error. You know, talking about Kyle Farnsworth and how hard he throws, it brings this to mind. How many times in his career do you think that Randy Johnson has pitched in a game where he's the 3rd hardest thrower to pitch in the game for his own team?
Never. Never.
I mean, Randy these days is throwing 94, 95 tops. You had Proctor throwing 97. You got Farnsworth who can throw 98, 99.
Just threw a 96-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike.
Farnsworth signed a 3-year deal with the Yankees in the offseason. And Valentin can't hold up. 0-2. A slider from Farnsworth.
Well, you have to be so aware of how hard Farnsworth throws that slider. You'll find a lot of guys check swinging on that good slider down and in. As you see Cliff Floyd coming out to pinch hit.
Aaron Heilman did a great job in relief. Now the Mets trying to get him a win. The starting pitchers didn't have it today on either side. Jeremy Gonzalez got chased after 3 innings plus. Randy Johnson slogged through 5, but the bullpens have been great as the lefty specialist Mike Myers gets up for the Yankees with Floyd standing on deck. One-two to Valentine. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. 2-2. You can't be any better than Aaron Howman was tonight.
3 perfect innings when the Mets really needed it.
Valentine fouls one off, and only one hard hit ball against Howman, and that's the one that Nady caught against A-Rod in the 6th. Aaron may not like his role, but he's doing a great job in it.
He's great at it.
Two and two to Valentine. And he keeps the at bat alive. Well, Valentine just looks like a different hitter right now.
Really does. Fouling off. Those are nasty pitches he's fouling off from Farnsworth, especially when you have to be ready for the fastball. But this was the kind of offensive player he was for many years.
Two on the way, and Valentine lifts another one foul. Valentine has 7 hits in his last 15 at bats and has driven in 7 runs over that span. So he has all of a sudden found his groove after a long time without it. And now the key is to keep it.
Got to give Willie Randolph a lot of credit and his staff for being patient with Valentine and knowing that he was going to turn it around.
He pops this one up. Shallow right center. Damon taking charge. 2 away. So 2 out and nobody on. As we check the Jeep game summary, Mets have been down for most of the night. 4-0, 5-3, 6-5, but they've come back each time. Beltran and Nady with home runs. Robinson Cano has had a big night for the Yankees. And now Cliff Floyd will come up as a pinch hitter, and he gets a rousing ovation from Met fans despite the .202 batting average. Trying to be a game changer in the 8th, and he takes a slider from Farnsworth. Cliff sitting today against the lefty for the 3rd time in a week. Has 3 hits and 9 career at bats against Farnsworth, whom Joe Torre leaves in with Mike Myers ready. 1-1. You have to imagine if the Mets had gotten anybody on in front of Floyd that we would have seen Myers in the game. Myers is almost impossible for lefties to hit. Cliff has 3 home runs this year. Lays off 2-1.
We saw David Ortiz hit a home run in Philadelphia. Mike Myers was acquired by the Yankees to get Ortiz out during those pressure-packed games between the Red Sox and the Yankees. First time he faced him, though, Big Papi took him deep.
Cliff didn't start tonight because he's 0 for his last 17 against lefties, and so Joe Torre rolling the dice a little bit by leaving Farnsworth in the game. This is the kind of pitcher that Cliff likes to hit. 2-1 on the way. So throws a slider and he takes it for a strike. So Farnsworth staying away from the fastballs against Floyd. As Joe Torre and Ron Guidry talk about the decision making here. 6-6, bottom of the 8th. 2-2 to Floyd. Fouled away. Xavier Nady with a home run tonight. Carlos Beltran with a home run tonight. And Willie Randolph hoping for some late inning magic after the Mets had to battle from behind through the first half of this game. And Floyd swings and hits one in the air to left. Bernie Williams right there. And Farnsworth pitches a 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th. We go to the 9th. Billy Wagner coming on. Game tied at 6. 9th inning at Shea. Billy Wagner on to try and keep the game tied. A week from Sunday at 1, join us back here on the WB11 as the Mets head to Florida for a battle with the Marlins. Don't miss an inning.
There's Mo. Mariano Rivera getting loose.
Now the question is, would Joe Torre bring Rivera into a tie game on the road? Wagner trying to keep it a tie game. The outings have been very spaced out for Billy lately as Giambi takes outside. Wagner's only been in 2 games in the last 2 weeks. Most recently last Saturday night in Milwaukee when he earned his 8th save of the year. 1-1 to Giambi. Giambi's walked, been hit by a pitch, and struck out twice. 0 for 2.
This is almost a contest. It's one of those pitching booths. Everyone that comes in is trying to throw harder than the next. Proctor, then Farnsworth, and now the Mets counter with Wagner.
And a slider for a strike. 1-2. Well, Aaron Heilman was perfect for 3 innings.
Perfect pitch. Full Giambi right on the corner.
Now Wagner ahead 1-2 on Giambi. Struck him out. Got him with a slider, 1 away. Well, between Oliver, Heilman, and Wagner, that is 14 Yankees retired in a row.
Alex Rodriguez.
Now here's A-Rod. 0 for 5 in his career against Billy Wagner. 1 for 3 and a walk tonight. 1 out top of the 9th. Slider misses. And he fouls off the fastball. 1-1.
That's where you got to pitch A-Rod down. Anything up in the strike zone, very dangerous.
A-Rod has 9 home runs this year, which for him constitutes a slow start. Last year's American League MVP. Second time he won the award. And the slider in for a strike. 1-2.
Really has a good feel so far for his slider. When you're warming up in the pen, sometimes you'll say, hey, that's the pitch I'm going to use tonight.
Ahead on A-Rod. 1-2. Struck him out. Billy Wagner strikes out Giambi and Rodriguez back to back. 2 out and nobody on.
Well, after going inside with sliders and fastballs, Wagner just pinpoints this fastball right on the corner. A-Rod swinging through it.
Now here's Kelly Stinnett as Rivera starts to loosen. And Stinnett takes a slider up high. Remember, Stinnett came on back in the 2nd inning when Jorge Posada's back stiffened up on him, and Kelly's gone 2 for 3 and driven in a run. Changeup from Wagner. 1-1. Next telecast on the WB11 a week from Sunday at 1 o'clock. Mets and Marlins down in Florida. Fastball strike. And Wagner ahead on Stinnett. 1-2. 56,289, the 7th largest crowd in Shea Stadium history. Struck him out. Wagner strikes out the side on the top of the 9th. To the bottom of the 9th we go. 6-6. Well, Joe Torre brings in his closer in a tie game on the road. as Mariano Rivera comes on to pitch in the bottom of the ninth. The defensive gem of the game is brought to you by the latest offers from Chevrolet.
And good play by Derek Jeter, Stinnett and Jeter on this play.
Stinnett doing the job after Jorge Posada left because of injury, and now Rivera. Now, I'm a little surprised by this. Are you, Ron?
I am surprised. Usually Joe Torre would not bring him in on the road unless they were winning. The problem is both the Mets and the Yankees have had a hard time getting to their closers, so haven't got as much work as they'd like him to have. His last appearance was a perfect ninth inning for a save against Texas.
Mets have occasionally been able to hit Rivera. There was the Matt Franco game-winning hit in '99. There was a Jay Payton 3-run homer in Game 2 of the World Series. But, hey, Rivera's the best there's ever been. He's given up more hits than innings pitched so far this year. Mets have the top of the batting order up in the bottom of the ninth. And Reyes bluffs a bunt and takes the cutter inside. Reyes has been on base 3 times tonight with 2 walks and a single. He's stolen a base. He's also been caught once.
Well, there's no secrets to Mariano Rivera to New York fans. They've seen him pitch in October so many times. Cutters in, fastballs in.
And it's 2-0 to Reyes. Joe Torre double switched Rivera into the game. He brought in Miguel Cairo, the former Met, to play first base. So Cairo's batting ninth and Rivera third as he tries to get, if necessary, 2 innings out of Rivera. 2-0 to Reyes, and he takes a strike. It is never ceasing to amaze me that Rivera can survive throwing 1 pitch. Throws it over and over again. Looped near the bag, and Jeter's there. 1 away.
You ask hitters, though, they say you cannot pick up the rotation on the ball. It comes out of his hand, and the life that he has on that cutter, it just bores in on the hitters so quickly, so late, with just a little bit of movement.
Here's Paul Lo Duca. The Mets have gotten good news on the scoreboard. Bad news for the Yankees. Red Sox have beaten the Phillies 5-3. The Yankees began the day a half game behind the Red Sox. The Mets began the day 2 games in front of the Phillies, who've now lost 4 in a row. So the Mets with a chance to open up a 3-game lead if they can win this one. Here's Lo Duca, and he takes a strike.
That's what I'm talking about. Just puts the pressure. You can see it coming off his middle finger. Little tiny spin, probably a little 6-inch break maybe at 94 miles an hour.
Lo Duca 1 for 3 and a walk tonight. And he fouls off the cutter. 0-2.
What I mean by it comes off his middle finger, that's where he puts all the pressure. And that pressure from the middle finger just makes that ball dart out to that outside corner.
And it's got to be even tougher for a guy like Lo Duca, who's seeing Rivera for the first time. You just can't judge that cutter off video.
Well, he'll do enough inside to right-handers too.
And he comes in and nearly hits Lo Duca. 1-2.
Good job by Lo Duca getting out of the way of this fastball that ran in. That's not the cutter. That's the fastball that he has 2 seams. It runs in on the right-hander, and then usually after that pitch he'll go back to the cutter outside.
Stinnett wants it in again.
1 more pitch in.
Ripped down the left field line. That's an extra base hit for Lo Duca. Paul Lo Duca with a 1-out double in the bottom of the ninth, and the Mets have the potential winning run at second base.
Well, they tried to double up inside on Lo Duca, but this ball comes a little bit back over the middle of the plate. Lo Duca had the ability to pull those arms in and keep that ball fair.
How good has this guy been in the late innings of close games?
Well, he's great all game long, but he's even better when the pressure's on the line. We talked about Jeter and his intangibles. How about Paul Lo Duca? The stats, you look at his stats and it won't drive you crazy, but he is excellent player and a great acquisition for the Mets.
Mets are a base hit away from winning it. Beltran takes a strike. Carlos is 3 for 10 in his career against Rivera. Keep in mind the arms in the Yankee outfield. Williams in left, Damon in center. Neither one of them can throw a lick, but you've also got a slow man at second in LaDuca with Delgado to hit next. Beltran bounces it foul, 0-2. Carlos with a 3-run homer back in the first inning has now driven in 28 runs, one behind Delgado for the club lead. 6-6 last of the ninth.
Well, he had a good cut at this pitch. But Carlos Beltran does not get in. It's up over the plate, just where Stinnett wanted it.
Into your living room. Rock your world. Oh, and 2 to Beltran. Struck him out. Rivera with a cutter fans Beltran for the second out. 2 away.
Well, this one down. See the bottom drop out. Swinging over the top is Beltran. Usually expect that ball to be about waist level, but that one he got on top.
Now it looks like the Yankees are going to walk Delgado, and this makes perfect sense because Delgado has as good numbers against Mariano Rivera as anybody. 7 for 18. That's a .389 average. And so they'll walk Delgado and bring up David Wright. Willie Randolph hoping that the Mets can come through in their final turn at bat. They trailed by 4 runs before they ever came to bat tonight. But Randy Johnson didn't do much for Joe Torre. The bullpens have been magnificent. And now David Wright will come to the plate with another 9th inning chance. He wanted to have one back the other night in St. Louis when he batted with the bases loaded against Jason Isringhausen with the Mets down by a run. Now he comes up with a chance to win it.
Well, on the edge of the seats are the Met fans tonight. LaDuca's got to really work at second base too to get a good jump, good walking lead. As he will be sent on any base hit, just about any base hit.
2 on and 2 out, last of the ninth. Mets 6, Yankees 6. LaDuca representing the winning run. Wright is 2 for 4 tonight. Ball 1. Johnny Damon not very deep in center field, and he just can't afford to play much deeper. Anything hit over his head, the game's over, but he's got to give himself a chance on a base hit. 1-1.
Good pitch from Rivera. This ball is down. Foul tipped by Wright.
One and 1 to David Wright. Fouled away. And now Rivera 1 strike away from getting out of a jam. Xavier Nady on deck. Wright has had 2 career at bats against Rivera, still looking for his first hit. A seat squirmer at Shea. 1-2 to Wright. 2-2. And you've got to do that with Wright. You've got to bust him in.
Be interesting to see what Rivera does this time. On LaDuca, he threw one inside, knocked him off the plate, and came back in. Will he do that again or go back outside with that cutter?
2-2 to Wright. Hit in the air to center field. Damon going back to the warning track. It's over his head and the Mets win it. David Wright with the walk-off hit. the bottom of the ninth off Mariano Rivera, and the Mets have taken game one from the Yankees, 7-6.
Well, great hit, redemption for Wright for the other night in St. Louis. And we talked about, well, you talked about, Gary, Johnny Damon playing shallow because he doesn't have that good of an arm, but he wasn't able to go back on the ball as well because he has that sore foot. Both things lead to a hit for the Mets and a win.
A tremendous win for the Mets tonight as Paul LaDuca races home with a winning run on David Wright's walk-off hit. Second walk-off hit for Wright this season. And the Mets win it 7-6. Chris Cotter standing by with David Wright. Chris?
All right, thanks, Gary. David, what makes Rivera so tough to hit?
I mean, he's got that hard cutter. He's got like a little two-seamer that he can throw in on you. I mean, he just throws everything so hard with a lot of late movement. You just have to try to go up there and make contact. I was fortunate to get a pitch over the plate, put a good swing on it.
With this type of environment, how electric was it, and how did it feel to get the ball off the bat like that?
As soon as off the bat, you hit it flush. You just know that, Johnny's a great center fielder out there. You just hope that I got enough of it. And fortunately, they were playing a little shallow to cut that runoff at home plate, and got enough of it.
Did you think you got enough of it when you hit it?
I was hoping. I was hoping, and I crossed my fingers. But it was an electric crowd tonight, and it was, great to come through like that.
How great was this bullpen on a night like tonight to keep you guys in it?
Huge. Both Ollie and Aaron Howman come in and did a fantastic job, and they really kept us in this game. And it seemed like every time, they scored a run, we had an answer right back for them, and that's the kind of team we got this year.
All right, congratulations, David.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, Gary.
Well, the New York Mets bullpen retired the last 16 Yankees who came to the plate, and that set the stage for David Wright to be a hero tonight as he hit one over Damon's head, and the Mets win it 7-6. Back to Shea in a moment.